NFL, San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Dallas Cowboys have solved their wide receiver 2 issue by trading for Steelers wide receiver George Pickens. They also get a 2027 6th-round pick. Cowboys send a 3rd-round pick next year and a 2027 5th-round pick to the Steelers in exchange. Now, Pickens is going into the final year of his rookie deal. All City Dallas's Clarence Hill is reporting he's not looking for a new deal. He wants to show he's a top guy.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate you. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Hit that thumbs up button while you're there. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Happy Hump Day, everybody.
Hump Day?
Hump Day? Yeah.
Hump Day?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
hope you're having a great Hump Day.
It's been a great day.
Why, Jason? Why has it been a great day?
Well, because Payway brought lunch today to the radio station, and we all got to eat.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
That
fantastic
was nice.
Yes.
I wake up to the news that Cowboys actually made a big move. I mean, a day after being called Tupperware, Jerry Jones says, "I ain't having that."
We know Jerry. He previewed this.
He did.
And apparently, I think he thought it was going to happen before. Reading everything, it appeared they wanted to get this done before the draft. Didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So now it finally worked out. Look, it's a good move. We're going to talk a lot about it and dissect this whole thing and all of that kind of stuff. But at least they're doing something. So nobody can sit back and say, you know what, Jerry didn't do anything. He put another quality wide receiver on the field. And we'll see how that works out.
You look at what Jerry did today and what Jerry and the Joneses have done this entire offseason. Quite frankly, a complete opposite of what they did last year. This year, all in actually looks like he's going all in. I mean, this George Pickens deal could be a 1-year rental for a 3rd-round pick. And you know what? I'm cool with that. It might turn into a long-term deal because he's going to have to learn David Mulligetta's name and phone number here pretty soon because, Mulligetta has Pickens as a client along with Micah Parsons. Knock them both out at the same time. Why not? But you look
Hold up, big fella.
Well,
hold up,
what do you
fella.
mean? What do you mean?
Well, let's wait on Pickens because I'm not sure. I mean, you look at Pickens, and I'm not necessarily sure that Dallas is where he wants his final destination to be. And I say that because I think George Pickens thinks he's a number 1 guy. He's not going to be that ever in Dallas.
He's not. And to have 2 guys that think they're number 1, I'm good with that. I think most number 2s want to be a number 1. They're competitive as long as he's getting the ball. And generally, the number 2 guy gets a lot of attention, a lot of passes because of the attention that the wide receiver 1's going to get. And you think about, like I can already imagine, man, Brian Schottenheimer woke up today and went, oh, man, let me go right to the grease board. Pickens, you're going out here. Lamb, you're going to be in motion all over the place. Mingo, Tolbert, whoever is wide receiver 3. And all those guys that we were thinking, well, this is what they have. You got to make one of these into a wide receiver 2, but all the rest of that room really kind of feels like they're solid wide receiver 3s, and now they could be that. If you're Brian Schottenheimer, you have to be over the moon today that you were able to get that wide receiver. Didn't get it done in the draft, so it's not like you've got a rookie to work with. You know what you're getting with George Pickens. You know what you're getting with George Pickens on the field and off the field.
Depending on who you ask, some people say it's not that bad off the field. On the field, he can be a little, how should we say, I don't know, temper tantrums. maybe for lack of a better word.
He's a diva wide receiver.
Well, of course, aren't they all?
Yes. I mean, have you seen George Pickens do anything worse than what we saw at times from Des Bryant?
Yeah.
Worse.
Unsportsmanlike conduct penalties will get you in trouble. And I don't care how good you are. If you've got a number of those, yes, that's not good. And George Pickens has a tendency to get a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct.
You know, maybe Schottenheimer should call Steve Kerr and say, tell me how you deal with Draymond Green. Now, as we talk about this, you know, and I am, as a Cowboy fan, excited. I mean, you look at available guys that they could have gotten. You look at Murray Cooper or George Pickens. George Pickens.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
No doubt. No doubt.
And so Dak Prescott, you've got the weapons now. You've needed weapons. Everybody has said you need weapons. Actually, Dak never says he needs weapons because he likes all the guys in his room. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, Dak Prescott, you've got to get it done now. Unless the offensive line is just complete trash, and I don't expect that. You've got a bit of a running game, a lot better than what you had last year. You've got a better wide receiving core than you had last year. And the idea that excuses, don't have this, don't have that, those are gone. Dak Prescott, you've been given everything that everybody thought you needed along with that $60 million a year. Now you got to go win, not just in the regular season. That's the bottom line. But when you look at the idea of getting a Pickens and a CeeDee Lamb and offensively what this can do, sure, there could be some on-field or even off-field locker room issues, but a strong locker room can take care of that.
Well, the Cowboys are in a great spot as far as I'm concerned with Pickens. And again, Pickens is going to have to – it takes two to tango. Right, so Pickens is going to have to decide if he's happy being a number 2 wide receiver with a number 2 wide receiver salary, because Jerry's not paying him $35 million a year, right? And nor should he as a number 2. If Pickens wants that kind of money, he's going to have to leave Dallas and go somewhere else. He's already said he doesn't want a contract extension. He's not in any hurry for that right now. So I think that works to the Cowboys' advantage. You see how Pickens is. How does he play? How does he fit in? If you don't like it, you let him go. So I think this is a great move for the Cowboys. You get a year to experiment with a guy who has the potential to be outstanding at what he does, and he's already shown that. So I think this is a win-win for the Dallas Cowboys.
It is. And also being a contract year, generally, guy in a contract year has a great year. Also, best behavior, because he knows financially what is at stake. We're not dealing with Antonio Brown here. So when you look at from that angle, now, can they both get paid? Look at what's happening in Cincinnati. Now, obviously, once Micah gets done, that would be a little bit more difficult, but this was a ballsy move by the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what time Jerry Jones got up this morning to get this done, but it was breaking news when my alarm went off around 7:45.
Well, I got up at 6, and it was breaking news then. And it had just happened at about 20 minutes before I got up. So it happened early this morning. There was no sign of it last night when I went to bed around 11-ish or whatever it was. And so, yeah, somebody was working overnight.
6:05 pledge is telling us is when the trade was being finalized.
All right, there you go.
6:05 a.m., so 7:05 on the East Coast. Either way, it's – and if – excuse me. If this was the trade, one of the trades that Jerry was talking about prior to the draft, these things take a while. We know that. And when I look at the compensation, Pittsburgh before the draft, no, we need more. And I get that. Or maybe the Cowboys moved up a little bit and gave them the third. But if you're a Cowboy fan, this is what you've been wanting the Cowboys to do. These kind of moves. They typically will do trades like this, but not for a third and not for a George Pickens. You know, you go back a couple years ago, you know, a nice little trade to get a Brandon Cooks, nice little trade to get a Stephon Gilmore.
Amari Cooper.
Well, Amari Cooper was a midseason, you must, and that turned into your first-round pick. But, you know, Amari Cooper was a big trade that moved the needle. Cooks and Gilmore were good trades to bolster the roster, but they don't really move the needle. This moves the needle. Now, one of the questions that I have, George Pickens was on the trade block for a reason, and we all know his history. Now, Mike Tomlin gives up on you. I got questions whether I want you or not, right? And I think that's fair. There are some organizations, things don't work out. Say you're a quarterback in Cleveland. I don't expect it to work out. You're probably going to be pretty good somewhere else because it sucks to be in Cleveland. Pittsburgh isn't one of those organizations. Generally, if you can't work for Mike Tomlin, you're the problem, not the organization.
Antonio Brown worked pretty well there for a while.
For a while.
Right? It's when he left, he kind of lost his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Pickens is a young guy, right? He's a young dude, so maybe it's just the maturity issue that he's got to deal with. But, again, this was a great move for the Cowboys. I'm happy that they went out and got this. Their offense is going to be balanced. We think about this. With Williams and Blue, you've got thunder and lightning.
Yep.
Right? You've got it both back there, and I think that's going to be great. You've got your two wide receivers, right? Then you've got Jake Ferguson, who is a catching tight end, and that Schoonmaker dude can block people. So you've got that figured out. You've got your offensive line figured out. That offense, there's no reason why that offense should not be able to move the football this year. No reason whatsoever that they should not be able to put points on the board this year. The defense at this point in time, it looks solid. Did they catch up with Washington or Philadelphia with this move? I think certainly got them a lot closer if it didn't. So the NFC East is going to be fun to watch, no doubt, this year.
And the Cowboys, Kyle Brandt, it's the fancy Tupperware, I guess, now, huh? The exciting one with lots of colors, I suppose. Crazy. Want to talk Pickens to the Cowboys? Your reaction? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Certainly, the George Pickens trade has given the Cowboy fan base a lot of energy. Although, guys, if you're lacking on energy, you need to go to the website fixmylowt.com because now's not the time of year to be dealing with a lack of energy. It's summertime. You got vacations coming up. You got activities, doing things outside. You don't want low energy to slow you down, and that low energy could be from low testosterone. Answer is simple. Go get tested and at Centergenics or Low T Center, and if you need it, start the TRT process. Fixmylowt.com is the website. You might see some of those online TRT services, but they're kind of a hassle. You spend hundreds of dollars in wasting time on unreliable test kits, wait for days for lab results, and that's before you even begin treatment. They say you meet a doctor, but a lot of times that person isn't actually on screen, not really who you want to trust your health to. You don't want to do that to an AI chat. And then you got to wait again just to get your meds. Not quality care. You get that at Centergenics and Low T Centers. They are the experts, and they've been changing patients' lives for a combined 25 years. They understand what guys need. They are in person and make it easy to get started with the quality of care you deserve. And there's never been a better time to start TRT than right now. With a free consultation and a free T-test, it's free, it's fast. They have on-site labs to process your test quickly, and if you qualify, you can even start treatment that same day. They've got locations all over San Antonio and across the area, even up in New Braunfels. Go into a Centergenics or Low T Center where in person you could see a healthcare professional and get started right away. They give you the power to take control of your health. You even have the option of white glove in-center care or medically monitored custom dose TRT at home. And if you're just looking to lose a few pounds, Centergenics and Low T Center make it easy with prescription weight loss medication, and you'll receive a free B12 shot on the same day. Most major insurance is accepted, so you have no excuse. Go to the website now and book your first appointment. FixMyLowT.com. That's FixMyLowT.com.
Looking for a place with character, cold drinks, and real Texas charm? Pull up a chair at the Lion and Rose in the Dominion. This local favorite, run by the Tharp family, serves up Southern hospitality, military pride, and seriously good food. Happy hour daily from 3 till 7 p.m. with $2.50 drafts, select wine, wells, and mimosas. Plus, tasty bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Now open at 23330 West I-10. The Lion and Rose.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So, what's that about?
So, let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Come soon to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Get a king bed for a clean price and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Made in America, highest quality. That's Connecticut quality water softeners. There's a reason Dave Ramsey says a Connecticut is a wise investment for your home.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it.
It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country. 210-656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
License number 38961.
ConnecticutSA.com.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those three massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. On Twitter, at Joe Reinagel 210. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix, the station at SA Sports Star. You want to react to the George Pickens move today? Easy. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776.
It's tough to react negatively to this, I think, because if he doesn't work out and it's not a good move, the Cowboys can get rid of him. If it is, they can re-sign him, and they'll have another wide receiver for a long time. So either way, I think it was a good move. Cowboys needed to do something. What was out there, they didn't like. They didn't get Tet McMillan in the draft like they wanted to do, so they had to go out and get something else, and I think they got the best thing available. Pickens, a talented guy, very talented guy. So we'll see.
And because he's in the final year of his contract, and it's not like they got a new deal with him. It's a one-year deal. So for 1 year, and that's all it might be, they gave up a third-round pick next year and a fifth-round pick in 2027. Along with Pickens, they also get a 2027 sixth-round pick. Now, keep in mind, if Pickens only plays 1 year in Dallas and then leaves, signs with another team, they'll get compensatory picks in return.
Yeah.
So there is no way anybody can tell me that knows anything about this that says the Cowboys overpaid. Quite frankly, you look at the compensation and you look at the numbers that Pickens is consistently put up. I'm guessing Pittsburgh was trying to get a second. We heard around draft time they were trying to get a second, and the Cowboys gave up a third. If they had given up a second or a first, I could hear a you overpaid argument, unless a new contract came with it, which clearly it isn't. So I don't have those draft chart things that, GMs have, but if Mingo's a fourth round, Pickens at third is a value.
I think to look at third is they've done a lot worse with the third round pick, Jalen Tolbert.
Here we go.
They've done a lot worse with fourth round picks. A couple of them, Mingo and Trey Lance. So, look, I think it's a move. It's a shot. And the Cowboys are swinging. They're not just standing at the plate looking at pitches go by. They're taking a swing, taking a chance. And I think it's good. And if this works out, they've addressed just about everything they needed to address on offense. Running back, wide receiver, offensive line. I mean, I think they're 3 for 3 offensively. And look, you guys know me. Anybody listens to this show, I'm going to criticize the Cowboys any chance I get. I can't criticize this. I think this is a good move, and I credit Jerry and Stephen Jones for making this move. It is a small risk, high reward move for the Dallas Cowboys.
16 yards a catch is his average. In fact, according to ESPN Stats and Info, he is the only player in the NFL who's averaged at least 16 yards per reception and had at least 2,000 receiving yards in the last 3 seasons. He ranks third in receiving yards on vertical routes since joining the NFL in 2022. He's behind, Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. That's pretty damn good company. And now you're going to have CeeDee Lamb opposite him. Even former Cowboy head coach Jason Garrett on Pro Football Talk today with Mike Florio raving about the move that the Cowboys made.
I think it's a great trade for Dallas. I really do. If you look at their team, I think they got a lot of good weapons. And for me, the whole thing works because of the quarterback. Dak can work with anybody. He'll bring the best out in everybody.
Yeah, Jason Garrett, he had to clap about that one. And you mentioned it's about Dak Prescott and what Garrett had to say about Dak making it work with George Pickens.
That's why it goes back to the quarterback for me, because the quarterback's the guy who has to develop the relationship with. He's the guy who's going to spend the most time with. Pickens knows that if I develop a relationship with Dak, he's going to throw me the ball. I'm going to have a lot of success. And I think Dak fully understands that. And I think that's the key relationship here. Ownership, organizational structure, head coach, very important, obviously. But if you can take the next step and you have an established quarterback, it helps that guy be less malcontented, if you will. And in Pittsburgh, when he's been there, the quarterback situation's been up in the air.
It has been, but they did have a pretty decent quarterback in Russell Wilson last year. So I don't know if you can necessarily use that as an excuse. The problem is not that. Look, Pickens is talented. He's talented. He's going to get open. He's going to catch footballs. He's just got to act like a pro. And that's the problem. He hurts the team when he gets 15-yard penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't care how many balls you catch or how many yards you catch for. You can't do stupid things like that. And he's got to come into Dallas and avoid that kind of crap.
The idea in that part of it, and that's real. Garrett talked about how important it will be for the Cowboys to create an environment that can get the best out of a George Pickens.
This is the kind of guy that Jerry Jones loves. Jerry Jones loves the George Pickens. He loves the guy who's talented, maybe troubled somewhere else. We can try to create the right environment for him and get the most out of him. That's why the Cowboys through the years have picked a lot of guys that were deemed to be first-round talent in the second round. Maybe they had an injury. Maybe they had a character flaw. Let's give this guy a chance and see if we can get the best out of him. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
That I agree with completely. I think no matter what you think about this move today, and it's hard for me to believe that any Cowboy fan isn't excited about this, but you've got to let it work. You've got 1 year to see if this thing is going to work. You're going to be able to do that, and that's the beauty of this deal. The Cowboys are not going to sign this guy this year. They're not going to give him an extension this year. They're going to see how he plays, how he fits into this organization. And if they think he fits in, they'll try to sign him. My only issue is George Pickens thinks he's the number one guy. He was a number one guy in Pittsburgh, and he thinks he can still be that guy. That'd be the only speed bump in the road to the Cowboys signing this guy long term.
You know, a couple of diva wide receivers. Other teams have made it work. Will they in Dallas? Can they in Dallas? And some of it, perception versus reality. On our YouTube chat right now, go to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. The idea, and I was talking about the numbers, 16 yards a catch and all that kind of stuff. There's a comment, Michael Garcia, you know, the Dak only throws 10 yards at a time. You know, perception versus reality, my friend. Warren Sharp on Twitter at Sharp Football, who one of those number geek types. Dak Prescott the last 2 years. Dak Prescott is number one, most passing yards on 15-plus yard go routes. Number two, most attempts on 15-yard go routes. George Pickens the last 2 years, number one most receiving yards on those 15-plus yard go routes. Number two, most catches on 15-yard go routes. Dak also number three best accuracy of the 40 quarterbacks. Perception versus reality. For all of you that want to say he's dink and dunk, the numbers don't lie. Those are stats. Your eyes, you watch, you think one thing. The numbers tell you a different story. And that's where you look at what a George Pickens could do with a CeeDee Lamb. I mean, my goodness, look at what CeeDee Lamb has done with a Jalen Tolbert and a Kevontae Turpin on the other side.
Well, I think CeeDee Lamb's got to be very happy about this because Pickens comes in with a reputation already. And people are going to have to respect him on that side, which means CeeDee Lamb shouldn't see the amount of coverage that he saw last year, certainly. The issue is going to be Dak's got to stay healthy. Dak Prescott has to stay healthy. You got all these weapons, everything going for him. Jerry has assembled this thing. Dak has to stay healthy. If he goes out again and misses 10, 12 ball games, it doesn't matter who's on the field. They're not going to win.
But and that's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, bottom line. Interesting move. Now, the only negative, and it's a big one, is attitude. What kind of George Pickens are the Dallas Cowboys getting? Because as I said earlier, there are some organizations it doesn't work, and I get it. If you can't work for Mike Tomlin, if Mike Tomlin gives up on you, I really have to question a lot of things about you, right? And again, like I was just saying about Dak's numbers, perception versus reality. Brooke Pryor covers the Pittsburgh Steelers for ESPN. She will join us next to give us a little insight on what the Dallas Cowboys are getting in wide receiver George Pickens. Pickens. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or go online mybestbailbonds.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Joel, I'm proud to introduce my latest in-summer relaxation relief-cation. I call it the Quarter Moon Grill and Go. It's a stainless steel propane gas grill with this, a full-size urinal. If you're gonna grill and you gotta go, it's the Grill and Go.
Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, we fix plumbing and AC issues fast and at a fair price. 210-651-5899.
Grill and
go away, Nigel. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC.
License number TACLA 141074E M16004.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know, our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. George Pickens no longer in the black and yellow. He's on his way to Dallas. What are the Cowboys getting, actually? I know he's a star wide receiver, but it's all the other stuff. So we go to the expert, the ESPN Pittsburgh Steelers reporter, Brooke Pryor, joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Brooke, appreciate it. I know it's been a busy day for you. We've been hearing about trades for a while, and now that it's done, my first thought is, if Mike Tomlin gives up on you, I'm guessing it's you and not the organization. So what are the Cowboys actually getting in George Pickens, not on the field but off?
Well, it's like you mentioned, there's all that other stuff that I think was the main motivator and why the Steelers decided to part ways with him. They're getting a guy who, when he's on and he's focused, he can be, a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver, an all-pro caliber wide receiver, but he can be very emotional, very volatile. It can be a roller coaster dealing with him. We saw him throughout his career on the sideline, good in these sideline displays of throwing his helmet down, yelling at teammates, not being excited when Deontay Johnson scored a touchdown at one point when they were teammates, just sitting on the bench by himself. You're going to know how he feels all the time. And then on the field, kind of more of the same, at least in terms of celebrating big catches. He got a couple penalties for celebrations that he wasn't supposed to do. He kicked the ball into the stands after a touchdown. I mean, I think at some point for the Steelers, he became more of a headache for their organization than for opposing defenses. And once the balance was kind of tipped in that direction, they decided that it was just not worth it anymore.
You know, Brooke, and you know, when you watch Pickens play, you know he's a talented guy, and we know about all his antics on the field. What about in the locker room? What did his teammates say about him in the locker room? Was he a bit of a distraction in there as well?
I think that he was a distraction in that his teammates were really tired of being asked about him and being asked about, you know, is what George is doing, does that detract from what you guys are doing as a team? Is it tough to focus when he's doing these things? How do you help keep him in line? How do you help keep him focused? I mean, there were times that we saw on the field, like Broderick Jones, who was one of his teammates at Georgia, talking to him in between plays to try to settle him down. I mean, I think that teammates at some point felt like they had to constantly appease him or just keep him focused, like it was some of their responsibility to keep him locked in. And I think that that's one of those things that was a detriment. I think last year, Russell Wilson a couple times went out of his way to talk about how much the team believed in George and things like that. And I think a lot of that was trying to keep him buying into this team to get the most out of him production-wise. I think that when he was playing really well, teammates similar to his coaches were willing to put up with the headaches of some of these other things, knowing that he, you know, could be a big asset when everything was going right.
Brooke Pryor joining us here on the Blitz 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. She covers the Steelers for ESPN. And Brooke, as I think about Antonio Brown was a productive for most part while he was with Pittsburgh. I don't know why Mike Tomlin always gets receivers that are like this. Like he has a type, right? And then at some point it doesn't work. Knowing George Pickens, at least as we sit right now, comes to Dallas with no new contract. It's a 1-year rental, if you will, as it sits right now. Do you anticipate a George Pickens on his best behavior to get that next contract, whether it's in Dallas or somewhere else?
Well, I don't know, and I think that is entirely up to George, because you would think that he would have been on his best behavior last year to try to get a contract extension in Pittsburgh, and that wasn't the case. He had the outbursts last year. He had a game where he showed up with less than 90 minutes until kickoff. Inactives had already been announced, and that is, I talked with guys in the locker room, and they said, well, it's not really a big deal, but it is unusual. And so I think that this has to be something that George decides. He has to grow up. That's something that Mike Tomlin said throughout the season. He said after the season he felt like he had seen some growth in maturity from George, but clearly not enough. And I think that this has got to be a gut check season for him. If you want to be a professional football player, you have to act like a professional football player. And if he doesn't, then I don't know what the likelihood is that he stays in the league. I mean, look no farther than Deontay Johnson, another wide receiver that the Steelers traded away, who then cycled through a number of teams last year when he was unhappy. There's just, I think it is going to be a very fascinating situation to watch unfold.
There's no doubt about that. Let me ask you this, too. If he does mature and has a good season, is George Pickens a guy that would be willing to stay as a number 2 guy? Because obviously Dallas has a number 1 guy in C.D. Lamb. Or do you think he'd be a guy that would want to go off and explore an opportunity to be that number 1 guy?
I think if he matures, you would hope that he would be okay being a number 2, or at the very least a 1A, 1B situation like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which is what the Steelers had previously talked about that they wanted out of George Pickens and DK Metcalf. But obviously they elected to go another route there. But I do think that his skill set should match up well with CeeDee Lamb. Actually, I covered CeeDee Lamb when he was at Oklahoma, and I was working for the Oklahoman. I think the two of them can be a really good tandem in terms of George Pickens can take the top off of an offense. You can have CeeDee Lamb running those intermediate routes. The two of them, I think, can complement each other really well if George can put his ego aside. That's something that, wide receivers, you want to be the guy. It's what makes you so good as a wide receiver, that you want to be counted on in the big moments. But There's only one football. It can only go to one person every play, maybe two if you run a reverse or a flea flicker or something like that. But still, it is going to be, I think, again, something that George has to decide if he's willing to do that.
Brooke Pryor here on the Blitz. So, and again, I think of organizations. You know the Steelers organization very well, a lot more than most of us listening and me, and you know the inner workings of it. But I know what it's like in Dallas, and I kind of think I know what it's like in Pittsburgh. It's two very different environments inside that locker room and the structure. The idea that you covered CeeDee Lamb, so you know CeeDee well, you know George well, your perception of Dak as a strong locker room leader, is this the kind of environment that you expect George Pickens to excel in?
I think that he is really, I think that it should help him a lot to have a guy like Dak Prescott who can check him, who is a strong leader, because that is one thing that George didn't have in Pittsburgh. That yes, you had a strong leader in Mike Tomlin as the coach who is a player's coach and is very present in the locker room, but still he didn't have a peer who was a leader, another player who could lead like that on the offensive side of the ball. He came here at a time he was drafted the same year as Kenny Pickett. Obviously that didn't work out. Russell Wilson was only here briefly. So I think that Dak Prescott should help. I'm very interested to see how George Pickens deals with the spotlight that comes with Dallas, because yes, there's a spotlight in Pittsburgh too, but it is, you're right, it is very different because Pittsburgh tries to keep everything in-house and you never really know the full extent of the turmoil that's going on behind the scenes. Dallas, Jerry Jones is going to get on the radio, as you guys know, and air all that dirty laundry. And that might actually work out in George's favor. Maybe he needs to be held accountable in that way. But it's going to be a reality show, I think. And either he turns into, a main character and he thrives in that because he very much has a main character personality, or he gets really frustrated at all of the asks and all of the scrutiny. Because I can tell you he did not love talking with the media in Pittsburgh, and the Dallas media is going to, I think, be even more amplified than what we were.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that, Brooke. You're exactly right. All right, we know that George Pickens is going to be a work in progress, a let's wait and see. What about the Pittsburgh Steelers now? What happens with Aaron Rodgers? Was this move any indication of what he may or may not do?
I don't think so, because I think that Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers' approach to their offseason is the same as their approach to the draft, that they're going to do things regardless of what Aaron Rodgers decides. To me, I don't think that this is a move that took Aaron Rodgers by surprise, because what I've been told is that the Steelers have remained in pretty constant communication with Rodgers throughout this entire process. So while they're not, sharing the playbook with him, I can imagine that they let him know that this is something that could be a possibility. Because as a quarterback, that's what you'd want to know. What kind of roster will I have? What weapons will I have? And I do think that Aaron Rodgers and George Pickens were going to butt heads if they ended up in the same locker room. Knowing the type of player that Aaron Rodgers is, he has a very high standard that he holds his wide receivers to. He wants to see clean routes, crisp routes. You need to be where he expects you to be. You need to know his hand signals, all of those things. George Pickens is not that type of player. He sometimes didn't run the correct route, sometimes stopped running routes. He was very much a guy that, didn't have to study for the test, but could get an A because he's just so smart. And I don't see that meshing well with Aaron Rodgers. Now, I don't think Rodgers was necessarily going to complain if he had two weapons like George Pickens and DK Metcalf, but I think that he will be just fine without him. So I don't get the sense that this has impacted Rodgers' decision and the timeline of that, and that is something that only Aaron Rodgers knows.
Curious, Brooke, if we just set a record talking about 10 minutes with a Pittsburgh reporter and not bringing up Aaron Rodgers for about 10 minutes. Is that the longest you've gone in a conversation without somebody asking about that dude?
I think so. I think that set a record by about 9 minutes. So, yeah, I almost forgot he existed for a minute. That was really nice.
Yeah, you're getting rid of one level of crazy for another as far as your coverage goes. But then you look at it, and because I was going to ask, do you think this move from Pittsburgh was more to appease Aaron Rodgers than maybe even Mike Tomlin?
No, I get the sense that this is a move that they made for the long term. No matter what happens at quarterback this year, they knew that going into this offseason, knowing that George Pickens is extension eligible going into the last year of his rookie deal, if he doesn't get an extension, if they say we're not going to extend you, or the Steelers are not offering terms that he is comfortable with or that he likes, this could have turned into a holdout, a hold-in. There could have been, subtweets on social media or on Instagram. It could have gotten really messy. And then regardless of the quarterback, if George Pickens does play this year, he has not been shy about letting people know when he has been unhappy with the quarterback situation. There was a time that there was a comment under one of his Instagram posts that was something along the lines of, imagine what George Pickens could do if he had a real quarterback. And he liked that comment, or his Instagram account liked that comment. And then he said that he didn't have comments turned on his Instagram, which wasn't true. So I think that in the long run, this is the Steelers saying, okay, this relationship has run its course. Doesn't matter who's throwing the football, George Pickens will not be catching it.
From what you're hearing, Brooke, before we let you go, the trade compensation, Cowboys really only give up a third-round pick. Did they overpay, underpay, or is that about right?
I think that's about right. I think if they had given up a second-round pick, this would have been a no-doubt win for the Steelers. But I think the Cowboys looked at some of the Steelers' previous trades with some of these disgruntled wide receivers or just volatile wide receivers, like Chicago giving up a second-round pick for Chase Claypool that then turned into essentially the 32nd pick, because that was the year that Miami didn't have a first-round pick, and the Steelers essentially get an extra first-round pick for a wide receiver who is no longer in the league and who did not add anything of value to Chicago. So I think that this was a very smart move by Dallas. Even if it doesn't, I think, pan out, it's still relatively low risk, especially considering you don't land that wide receiver in the draft. And, I mean, Dallas has, I think, juggled a lot of big personalities. So maybe in that way, they might be better equipped to deal with it than most, because they are good at ignoring it or leaning into it. But for whatever reason, I think that it was a good move on their part, and at least an entertaining one that will give us plenty of content.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And I know you're up against it, Brooke, but the reaction there in Pittsburgh, what has the reaction been just from the fans and people you've talked to?
I think it's been split. I've seen a lot of fans saying, what in the world? Why did you make this trade? Is there even any plan? And I think a lot of the frustration comes from the timing of the trade, that it happened after the draft, knowing that the Steelers didn't draft a wide receiver. They're not able to turn Pickens into immediate value in terms of, getting an extra pick for this year. But I think that it's something that, fans who have been paying attention to some of the roller coaster of George Pickens are a little, I think, also somewhat relieved and understand why the Steelers had to make that move.
Good stuff. Brooke Pryor, ESPN NFL reporter covering the Pittsburgh Steelers, and a Bojangles evangelist, according to your Twitter. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you jumping on. I know it's a crazy busy day for you, Brooke.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate it. Brooke Pryor on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Trade compensation in line. I mean, you always look at trades and who won, who lost. And in a lot of ways, and she even just said, if it had been a second-round clear Pittsburgh win, I think the third-round pick and the potential, Cowboys get this and kind of a steal, because you go back a couple of weeks, and I Googled, you can Google too, prior to the draft, they were looking for at least a second, maybe even a second and a third. When you look at the Cowboys giving up a third and a fifth in the 2027 draft, and they're getting a pick back. Plus, if Pickens is here in 1 year, you get the compensatory picks. This is a great move for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, look, I think it is too. And anybody that says they overpaid, I think it's just trying to be a hater at this point in time.
Well, they're out there.
Well, yeah, this is a good move for the Cowboys, and it is a low-risk, high-reward move. The only concern, if there is one, is his attitude. Is he going to come in here and be the same guy he was in Pittsburgh that irritated the hell out of Mike Tomlin? Is he going to be that guy, or is he going to grow up? And will his teammates here in Dallas help in that process? So, look, we'll only know when we see it, and we'll go from there. But I think as it stands right now, it's a great move by the Cowboys.
And you think about the spotlight in Dallas and the big personalities that Cowboys have had. Historically, you could look back on a lot of them and try to figure things out. With the new head coach and Brian Schottenheimer, we have no idea how he will handle a player like that, because he's the play caller, offense coordinator, and he's the head coach. But he's been around the league a long time. Now, you look at the Cowboys roster, and the addition of that number 2 wide receiver, a legit number 2, the weapons now available to Dak Prescott, how explosive this offense could be. You look at a guy like Dan Orlovsky, who said today, this changes the complete outlook for the Cowboys' upcoming season.
The move squarely puts the Cowboys as a playoff contending football team this coming season. I anticipate the Cowboys to be better than other people. And a couple months ago, Greeny, it was the Cowboys can be a playoff contender if 2 things happen. Number 1, that Dak Prescott has to stay healthy. That hasn't been the case recently. And then 2, they got to get a number 2 guy opposite CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens, in the chaos of the quarterback situation at Pittsburgh, averages like 15 yards a catch. So we're talking about adding that to a wide receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb that is going to get you about 100, 110 catches a season and push 1,500 plus yards. George Pickens, contract year, yes, he's not a perfect type of player, but his ability to go down the field and make plays with an offensive line that I think is going to be one of the better ones in the NFL at the back end of the season, this squarely puts the Cowboys back into we are a playoff contending football team.
I don't think there's any question about that. It's just what kind of a playoff contention football team? Are they better now than Philadelphia? No, I don't think so. Are they better than Washington? We'll have that debate. And then you look at some of the other teams in the NFC that have gotten better. So I don't know. I understand that. I certainly think offensively this team is addressed everything. And I've seen comments on our YouTube page, Jason, talking about they still need a running back. I don't think so. I think Javonte Williams is going to surprise the hell out of everybody when he comes in here. This kid is talented. He was injured last year. He's talented. He's the Thunder to Blues Lightning. And I think with those two, the combination of those two is going to be outstanding for the Dallas Cowboys.
And again, it's May 7th.
Did I say Adams? Williams. I don't know what the hell I said. But.
Well, and we know what you meant.
All right, Williams, Javonte, James Bond.
It's still May. We got time to memorize the roster. But when you look at it, yesterday they were called Tupperware. Yesterday, Kyle Brandt said they were boring and compared them to, 4 out of 4 in the NFC East. Philadelphia is still the standard in the NFC East, but we all know the rules. The NFC East does not allow back-to-back champions. Washington, Jaden Daniels is doing everything he can not to have a sophomore slump. But when you look at how good Washington was last year, and they were in a lot of one-score games. They won a lot of those one-score games.
But they got better this offseason, too. Deebo Samuel is there.
Absolutely. And so I think they addressed what you a lot of times see, and whether it's Washington, Dallas, Houston, it doesn't matter. You take a team that wins a lot of one-score games one year, the next year things kind of come back to the medium, and you go, well, how good were they really the previous year? I mean, they won some games last year that were miracles. That Chicago game comes to mind. Not to take away anything, they won those games. But will there be a sophomore slump with Jaden Daniels in that group? Knowing Jaden Daniels, he's doing everything he can to make sure that doesn't happen. In that coaching staff, the consistency, and as you said, they got better. The Cowboys, think about the wins they got last year. With the injuries they had, you could almost say, how'd they win that many games? And they've gotten extremely better. The NFC East is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be back to being the NFC Beast. And that's what happens in that division. NFC Least, NFC Beast. NFC Least, NFC Beast. But we know there's never a back-to-back champion. It hadn't happened since Reagan was president, right?
Philadelphia's on line one for you.
Well, they can get a birds up.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But the Cowboys, all their moves this offseason, really, when you look at them, are all about winning the NFC East first. They're not trying to win the Lombardi first and then working backwards. It feels like this offseason, the Cowboys are doing everything they can to win the East, and then you worry about the NFC and then the Super Bowl. All their moves, that draft, that was about winning the NFC East, right? And you got to start there. And that's what it looks like this Dallas Cowboys team is doing. Bush administration, thanks, Pledge. Bush, Reagan, 04, 84.
It's about 20 years difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, same thing. I mean, it's been forever.
Been a long time.
I mean, there's been a couple of Bush presidents since then.
Yeah, look, again, a good move. I agree with you about the NFC East. It's going to be tough because I even think the Giants will be better this year. At least they've got a quarterback that they can depend on in Russell Wilson, and they've done some things to address that defensive line is going to be as good as anybody's. So, and the NFC East is going to be tough, but the NFC overall has improved. And if the Cowboys can manage to win the NFC East, that'd be fantastic. I think maybe you start by saying, let's just get in the playoffs and see what happens.
Sure. And again, if you're a playoff team, you get a chance. But they are certainly a better team today, a far better team than they were yesterday.
No, there's no question about that. And today, I think, was a great move, and I think Jerry and Steven and everybody up there deserves a lot of credit for this move, for taking a chance, taking a swing, and addressing a big need on this offense. I remember Shireen Williams, when she was on with us a couple of weeks ago, saying if they go in with this wide receiver staff, they're not going to score any points. And she was totally right. They had nobody opposite CeeDee Lamb, a bunch of projects that may or may not be good. Now they've got a guy we know is good. And if he behaves himself and doesn't worry about what's going on with CeeDee Lamb on the other side, how many balls he's getting versus what he's getting, and all those little things that irritated him in Pittsburgh, then the Cowboys are going to be okay.
It's going to be a fun season, that is for sure. Coming up, we've got all kinds of stuff to get into, from the playoffs to Marcy Grace coming in studio, and a bit of a change in the branding for the Roadrunners. We'll explain here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. When you need an electrician, you know Hill Electric is available to you for both residential and commercial needs. I've used Hill Electric at my house through the years for a variety of projects, like extra outlets in the garage, dimmer light in the living room, a spotlight over one of the grills outside. For well over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. Whatever your project is, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price. Never a service charge, always free estimates. So it costs you nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done, and they do fantastic work. So call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or hill-electric.com.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Count on Kohl's for those special gifts Mom deserves this Mother's Day. Inspire her inner chef with must-haves for her kitchen, wellness essentials for her fitness routine, and jewelry for her perfect night out. Plus, you can save 15% on some of your finds and earn Kohl's Cash. Find Mom's perfect gift in time for Mother's Day at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer valid through May 11th. Kohl's Cash and coupons do not apply to Sephora. Exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for more details.
It is playoff basketball time. While they're scoring buckets, you could be scoring cash on Underdog, one of the leading sports apps out there, the best place to go make all your sports picks. Their app has over 100,000 5-star reviews, and I love playing the pick'em game at Underdog, where you just have to choose higher or lower on predicted stats. Download the Underdog app, sign up with my promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, use promo code STAR at Underdog. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch. Hey guys, are you or your spouse looking to lose weight in time for summer? Head over to any Synergenics or Low T Center for prescription weight loss treatment options. If you qualify for treatment, you can get a free B12 shot when you start. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The Lion and Rose at the Dominion, your daily happy hour spot from 3 till 7 p.m. 250 drafts, wine, wells, and bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Lion and Rose at 23330 West I-10.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The big news of the day, the Dallas Cowboys have solved their wide receiver 2 issue by trading for Steelers wide receiver George Pickens. They also get a 2027 6th-round pick. Cowboys are sending a 3rd-round pick next year and a 2027 5th-round pick to the Steelers in exchange. Playoff games tonight in the NBA, Game 2 between the Knicks and the Celtics in Boston. New York leads 1-0. Tip-off there at 6. Nuggets, they lead OKC 1-0. Tip-off in OKC, 8:30.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate it. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. And while you're there, hit the thumbs up button. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. And you know what day it is.
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day.
That was weak. Do it again.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Big day today.
It is a big day.
Big day.
Good to have something positive to talk about when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Depending on how you look at that trade, whether you're for it or against it, I'm for it.
Oh, I am. Look, you could be against it for a variety of reasons, but none of your reasons are football reasons. When you just look at what this dude will do on the football field, what he's expected to do on the football field, this is a great move. You gave up a third-round pick next year for a guy that could be a Pro Bowl wide receiver, a legit number 2. All the talk, the Cowboys are always trying to sell something. I don't know if you've noticed, they sell everything, right?
Everything.
And we eat it up as Cowboy fans. The idea of, Jalen Tolbert led the Cowboys in touchdowns last year, receiving-wise. Yeah, that's not really a good thing because, all the coverage that was rolling over to CeeDee Lamb and, nobody gave a damn about Jalen Tolbert. Other teams will give a damn about George Pickens. You might want to cover that guy with 1, maybe 2. So both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, every play, one of those guys should be able to get open.
Not only that, will open things up for a Jake Ferguson. It'll open things up for a Jaden Blue out of the backfield. There's all kinds of things that opens up opportunities for Dak Prescott. So it's a good move. He comes in with a reputation as a good wide receiver, and he's got to have that respect automatically. CeeDee Lamb's got to be thrilled today. I mean, he absolutely has to be thrilled because you're right. I mean, he was double teamed just about every single play last year.
In reality, Cincinnati's got the best receiving core in the NFL.
Okay, I agree with that.
Dallas is now in that conversation for maybe the second best receiving core.
Well, okay.
Who else?
Well, I mean, you'd have to look at a lot of things. I see Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel in Washington. That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
I look at Philadelphia's got a pretty good duo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some pretty good duos
some good ones,
out
but
there.
When you look at individual numbers of what receivers do, you add Pickens and Lamb, and if they're able to do that together, they're going to be in that conversation. And to be fair, right, the Cowboys now have a top 5 wide receiving duo.
Fair enough.
Where yesterday when we went to bed, they had a top 25 receiving duo.
If it was even that high.
I'm just saying.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
And so, I mean, go back to CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and what those guys did. Very different kind of receivers. That's the kind of offensive explosion I expect, but I expect it to go another level with this addition. It's going to be interesting.
It will be interesting. There's no doubt about it, and we'll see how it plays out. The talent is there. There's no question about that in George Pickens. He just got to get that thing between his ears figured out.
That's how it goes. Let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
UTSA football turns 15 this year. Before that, we had basketball. And way back, I used to do a lot of the UTSA basketball play-by-play. They used to do a couple games every year on television. I was the guy on Time Warner. That's how long ago that was.
Yeah.
For a couple years, I was the radio guy for UTSA basketball on a different station many, many years ago. And for as long as I can remember, when you get what's called the game notes, there's ways to talk about UTSA. And it was always, we're UTSA. We're not Texas San Antonio. We're not UT San Antonio. We're not this. We're not that. This is how they want to be known as. And today we see that the Board of Regents are voting to approve a new logo, and how we're going to refer to UTSA as UT San Antonio.
UT San Antonio. So I remember everybody got all bent out of shape when any announcer would refer to the Roadrunners as UT San Antonio. But look, it's what they are, right? I mean, I never understood that, but I get it. UTSA, that's how everybody knows the team. So, it's the design has been approved by the chancellors, the executive vice chancellor for academic affairs, and the vice chancellor for external relations. They've all approved this. There's a new logo here that I'm looking at that obviously you can't see, but you can certainly Google it. It says UT San Antonio, the University of Texas at San Antonio.
Now, I think part of this is you read the meeting notes for the Board of Regents meeting, because it's UT San Antonio and the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio. So I think there's a little bit of a combination there. Now, this might just be more for the school. It'll be interesting to see athletically how they do it. I'm all for it from the one sense, from the national games or when they're on national TV. People don't have to say, where's Utsa? Because San Antonio is in the name. Let's get our city a little bit more branding, but it just seems like such an about face, like, well, we can't beat them, might as well join them mentality with UTSA going with this change.
Well, it's interesting that they're doing that, but look, I think it's appropriate. The University of Texas at San Antonio. I mean, when you hear other things, I mean, UTEP is UTEP, but it's University of Texas at El Paso. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't bother me either way. But obviously, somebody thought that change needed to be made.
It's going to be interesting. Now, speaking of changes that needed to be made, sometimes you realize, we got to change a rule because, well, it's obvious. And that happened, was this in Kansas? There's a guy that was walking around and, well, he was naked in a city called Arkansas City, Kansas. This guy would go for his nightly walks butt-ass naked.
And people would call and complain, and nobody could do anything about it because he wasn't breaking the law.
How was he not breaking the law?
Well, apparently in this little city of, what was it, Arkansas?
Arkansas City, Kansas.
Yeah, that. It's not illegal. As long as he's not trying to pleasure himself or intent to pleasure anybody else.
Or arouse.
Or arouse, which usually leads to pleasure.
Well, I'm just saying. You can walk around naked if you're not aroused or trying to arouse somebody. And when you look at him, he ain't arousing anybody by the sight.
He's just he's a fat dude walking around naked, and so that's. I mean, I don't think anybody was aroused by that, and he wasn't aroused. So apparently, it was okay, and there was nothing the police could do. So the city council, the mayor, and all of that, they had to change the ordinance to say you can't walk around naked anymore, regardless of whether you're aroused or not.
Guy found a loophole.
Yes, he did. He did. And he didn't take his Viagra before his walk. That's a good thing. No arousal there.
Well, I'm glad they fixed that.
Yep.
Glad they fixed that. Sometimes obituaries can be funny.
This is funny as hell.
This poor guy died. That's not the funny part.
No.
The funny part is his family has a sense of humor, and this guy, diehard sports fan, probably is
Chicago White Sox fan,
looking up, looking down, looking like excited that he's making the national news because part of his obituary reads that he passed away after a short illness at home, surrounded by his family. Couldn't face another White Sox season after last year's record-breaking meltdown.
That is hilarious. And I hope the White Sox, they're not very good this year either. So this poor guy just couldn't take it anymore, and he has passed on. R.I.P. to him. But maybe the White Sox might concentrate on spending some money and getting some players because they have sucked for quite a while.
Well, I mean, they can't afford to lose any more fans.
Well, that's true.
And they've lost one. They're down one.
Uh-huh.
But looking at their attendance, he hadn't been to a game in a while.
Yeah. Funny obituary, though. Now, I wonder, did he write that knowing he was going to die? Or did the family write that afterward? That's
I don't know.
That's interesting.
But the family has a sense of humor.
Yeah, they do. Somebody does.
Somebody does. Crazy. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. It is Wednesday. That means steak night out at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. Get into the Roo for that $19.95 steak night special. A 12-ounce Minix ribeye, your potato, your salad. You can't beat it. It is fantastic. And also make plans to be at the Roo Pub on Monday. We're going to do it again. Remember a couple of years ago we were in the draft lottery, threw a big party. We landed Wemby, and the Roo Pub picked up everybody's tab. We're going to do that again. If San Antonio draws the number one pick at the draft lottery Monday, the Roo will pay for every open tab. We're going to do it again. Draft lottery Monday night. Between now and then, though, steak night tonight, all the NBA playoff games, the action this weekend, the fights, and when you go into the Roo Pub, go hungry. Their food is fantastic. I love the fried shrimp. They have the biggest and best wings in town, about 15 different burgers on the menu. And that kitchen is open late every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub has happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night. Wednesday night, steak night. Monday, draft lottery night. Spurs end up, with the rights to a Cooper flag. Roo Pub's going to pay your tab. Can't beat it. See you at the Roo Pub on Monday. Just down from the Big Blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-2007. That's 800-298-2007. 800-298-2007.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. 'Cause I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Let's Rodeo San Antonio Brahmas style. The herd you love returns to the Alamo Dome for their Let's Rodeo theme game. Join us Friday, May 9th at 7 p.m. when your San Antonio Brahmas battle the DC Defenders. Dust off your boots and grab your cowboy hat to celebrate with rodeo-inspired fun for the whole family. Enjoy a pregame happy hour in the HEB Plaza with $3 frozen margaritas and beer. Get your tickets today at UFLBrahmas.com. That's UFLBrahmas.com for tickets. Our town, our team, our herd.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Joel, I'm proud to introduce my latest in-summer relaxation relief-cation. I call it the Quarter Moon Grill and Go. It's a stainless steel propane gas grill with this, a full-size urinal. If you're gonna grill and you gotta go, it's the Grill and Go.
Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, we fix plumbing and AC issues fast and at a fair price. 210-651-5899.
Grill and
go away, Nigel. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC.
License number TACLA 141074E and 16004.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, where the road wins continue, we'll see if a home team can actually win a playoff game.
And we'll talk more about the Cowboys' moves and the NBA draft lottery coming up. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
So that is the new San Antonio Brahmas anthem that will debut this Friday with their game against the DC Defenders. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel, I'm Jay Semenix, and the singer, the writer of this new Brahmas anthem is Marcy Grace, who's joining us here in studio. There you go. Pledge got you now. Your turn on. Okay. Yeah. Take us through coming up with an anthem for the San Antonio Brahmas.
Yeah. Well, they came to me wanting a song for the team, and pretty much wrote this in one night, 1 or 2 nights.
One night?
Yeah.
Really?
But no, I really wanted to make something that was, rockin' and really spoke to the San Antonio way. There's some Spanish in there. There's we're mentioning 210, and kind of every line of this song kind of points back to San Antonio and makes it feel really like an anthem for us.
Songwriters are just different because you get all this stuff rolling around your head and you can put it together in a song. It would take me, 3 years to come up with something like that, and probably
that's
still
just a normal sentence, let alone a song.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know how you do it, honestly. It just came together?
Yeah, it just kind of comes to you. It's very much like it comes from somewhere else. I can't explain it, It's one of those things. But usually for me, the melody hits first, and then I write the words that fit in there, and it has to rhyme. So there you go.
I think about songwriting, different musicians we've talked to. There's generally some sort of inspiration, something happens, you write it down, life, all that. Yeah. Somebody comes to you and says, "Can you write a song for me?" Yeah. That's got to be very, very different.
It is because you're not writing from your experience or anything like that. So you're having to, take it from something that they want and hopefully that they like and all of that. It's really and sometimes you're on a deadline for that, which this one was. So, hey, it worked out, though.
Well, that's got to add to the pressure, right? I mean, say, hey, I need a song and I need it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, that's tough. But, you've been doing this for a while now, right? I mean, so, and climbing up the ladder.
Yeah, no, I've been doing it full time since 2017. We've had 3 top 40s on the Texas radio charts, and we're getting ready to release my first full-length album this summer. So we're excited about all of that.
Staying busy, playing a lot of shows. Now, on Friday for the game, you're going to play the song, before the game, trying to get the crowd there in the Alamo Dome fired up. And there's some parts in there that people need to participate in, right? Yeah. Now, they've never heard this. How the hell is this going to work?
Well, yeah, so we are posting to the fan pages. So if you're one of the fans on the Facebook groups, there's a couple of different Brahmas groups. But yeah, the song will be on there. There's a middle part of this song where the guitar solo is, and there's chants. You can hear it in the song where people will say horns forward, and that happens 3 times. So if everybody wants to yell horns forward on that part, it's going to be great.
I think it's cool, and they need to get the hand motion down too. So that'd be good. Now you're going to be busy, right, for that game. You're doing pregame too.
Yeah, so we're playing throughout the game. So what we're branding it as is that it's a concert throughout the game. So we're playing we're playing pregame, the first timeout break. We're playing halftime. We're playing the third and fourth quarter break there, and so we'll be playing all throughout it.
That's going to be a lot of fun, but not the same song. You're actually playing some Marcy Grace music.
Yes, we are.
Throughout, and it's perfect because it's their Let's Rodeo themed game.
It is. Yeah, there's going to be the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is involved. You've got the Marcy Grace band. It's going to really be a great game.
I can't wait for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So, all right. So you've got the song. You're releasing. I don't know what the words are, but videos are words. The crowd participation part. Playing in the. Do you know where you're setting up for the game?
Yeah, we're gonna actually be in what they call the bullpen. So
you got the good seats.
Yeah.
There's a bar right there too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You can say you're with the band and come on by.
See?
Well, we know you, right?
Yeah.
You'll vouch for us, right?
Yeah,
okay. Oh yeah, they are. They're roadies.
Yeah.
And we need a roadie, by the way. So.
Well, then y'all need to show up early and get some hands-on equipment, y'all.
They do have $3 beer and margaritas pregame Friday night, which is fantastic. So Facebook pages is where people can go and learn the song.
Yeah, or they can follow me on my social media at Marcy Grace Music, MARCY, and then Grace Music, and we're going to have everything on there. We've kind of been teasing it the past couple of days, but we're going to get it started rolling out here.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, but what's next for you after that? I mean, you've been playing all over the place.
Yeah, this year's been a great year for us. Next weekend, we're up in Plano, Texas, and then the big event we're looking forward to is we're playing with Neil McCoy out at the Rockport Wine Fest.
Nice.
And that's going to be a great highlight for us over there.
You've been playing with a lot of big-name artists lately.
It's been fun. It's been fun. We've gotten to play with Terry Clark recently, Susie Boggess, Kevin Fowler. We're working on some more dates with them, and so it's been a fun ride so far.
That's fantastic. I'm happy for you.
Kevin Fowler might have one of the better anthem songs out there with Beer Bait and Ammo, right?
That's true.
I mean, and you think about writing songs that are anthems. You know, Robert Earl Keen's got a couple that you just hear them, you know them. As a songwriter, does that turn into a goal at some point, or when you're writing it, you go, you know what, I'm on to something here?
Yes. Oh, yeah. You definitely have those feelings with certain songs. And even with some of our songs, you know, by the second chorus, people are singing along with some of our songs. And it's like, okay, then we know this one's a good one here. So, yeah, it's definitely a goal for sure.
Now, when you're playing all over the place like that, when do you find time to write songs or record an album?
It's hard. It is hard. But, you know, you just kind of have to make time. For me, I'm a late night person when it comes to being creative. So I've got to be alone. It's got to be late night, and I'll sit down and write. So I kind of find time for that a little bit, you know.
And then you send it to the band?
Yeah.
Afterwards, so you do everything's kind of on your own.
Yeah.
Then you send it to the band. If the band doesn't like it, like, Marcy, this sucks. What were you thinking last night?
Too bad.
My name's on the headline there. So now, when's the new album coming out?
Yeah, August 22nd.
Nice.
August 22nd, and the first single will be coming out here soon. And we're looking at June for that, and we just finished filming a music video for that as well. So we've got a lot on deck right now.
Staying busy.
Wow.
Aside from Friday in the Alamo Dome, when's your next San Antonio area show?
Our next San Antonio area show.
That's a great question,
you know,
huh?
It is. You know what's funny is we don't get to play in San Antonio as often as we'd like to. But we're definitely we are working with a date at Sam's Burger Joint for the album release and all of that as well. So
that Rockport deal is a lot of fun, though.
That is.
That Rockport, was it Lobster Fest or
Rockport Wine
Fest?
Yeah,
Rockport
it's
drinking, music,
okay,
down, right? Is it better when the crowd is so drunk they don't know what's going on?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not.
Depends on if Brian Eagles there, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Happy for you, and I can't wait for Friday night. That's gonna be great. Everybody needs to get out and watch the Brahmas and watch Marcy Grace.
Absolutely. Pre-game, learn the song.
Yes.
Does the song have a name other than the Brahmas anthem?
No, it's just the Brahmas anthem, San Antonio Brahmas anthem.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. And there's parts that you have to do. Yeah. And so if you're going to the game Friday, you need to learn it so that you can actually participate in the song, because you don't want to be the only one in the Alamo Dome singing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the goal here, right?
This is definitely like we're having a 30,000 chorus out there with us, you know.
When you're doing that, before you start the song, will you explain when the crowd needs to be involved?
I don't think we have time for that, just because it's on one of the timeout breaks over there. But I'll be, making sure as many people as we can get to know it.
Go to the Facebook page.
Go to the Facebook pages.
Yeah.
Marcy Grace, or the Brahmas Facebook pages, because the video is going to be out there pretty soon.
Yeah.
And the game's what, at 7 o'clock? 7:30? 7 o'clock
Nice.
Friday against the DC Defenders.
DC Defenders. It's going to be a good one. We beat them a few weeks ago. So
That's only when they have.
That's
Yeah,
it. Well,
it
see,
is.
you'll be a good luck charm.
Yeah.
I can see it coming.
That's it. The new anthem, everything's there. Now, we've got a family 4-pack of tickets to give away right now. So if you want to win tickets to go see the Brahmas game, or to go see Marcy Grace, and there's a football game going on, however you want to look at it, be caller number 12 right now, and those tickets will be yours. 210-656-ESPN. ESPN, 656-3776. If you don't win the tickets, buy them at uflbrahmas.com. Marcy Grace, always great to catch up with you, my friend. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, of course.
Great to see you.
Absolutely. Big trade for the Dallas Cowboys today. They've got a new wide receiver. We'll talk more about it coming up here on The Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. He's got his entire spring line on display right now in his showroom. So if you need your logo on a nice golf shirt, a fishing shirt, any kind of shirt, go see Sam. If you need T-shirts printed, Sam will get you taken care of. And if you need caps, he has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom. And all the popular cap brands like the Richardson 112 style trucker caps, Katie caps, Nike, Cap America, to name a few. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands. And he's the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too big, certainly no order too small. So call 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or get into that massive showroom down on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, where the road wins continue, we'll see if a home team can actually win a playoff game.
And we'll talk more about the Cowboys' moves and the NBA draft lottery coming up. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Gentlemen, testosterone levels can start dropping in your 30s, leading to low energy, reduced libido, and slower metabolism. Rock's Discount Vitamins is making it easy to take back control. No appointments and no prescriptions. Just head into a Rock's and walk out with a natural solution tailored to you. Our powerful line of natural testosterone boosters can help increase energy, build muscle, rev up your metabolism, and reignite your drive. You'll feel the difference and fast. Visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God in South Texas.
Looking for a place with character, cold drinks, and real Texas charm? Pull up a chair at the Lion and Rose in the Dominion. This local favorite, run by the Tharp family, serves up Southern hospitality, military pride, and seriously good food. Happy hour daily from 3 till 7 p.m. with $2.50 drafts, select wine, wells, and mimosas. Plus, tasty bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Now open at 23330 West I-10. The Lion and Rose.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Guys, starting TRT has never been easier. Other places charge hundreds of dollars just for the test. But visit any Synergenics or Low T center and get the consultation and test totally free. Treatment is personalized to you, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Hump Day Wednesday.
It is.
Unless you get up at dark 30, you actually woke up to the news that the Cowboys have a new wide receiver.
I woke up early and it was there. So I don't know when this thing was it wasn't finalized at that point in time. It was just about to be done. But yeah, I was shocked because you go to your phone first thing and bam, there it is, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Anybody? Because clearly I didn't hear it. Listening to the morning huddle this morning, see how those boys handle breaking news? That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen for Rob and AJ very often. That might be the one time this year that they get breaking news in the middle of their show.
I heard a little bit of it as I was driving to the gym this morning, and they were talking about it. Yeah, it was thrilling.
I mean, we get breaking news all the time.
We do. We're fortunate.
Yeah,
yes.
they rarely get breaking news. We'll get more into Pickens in a moment. Let's talk basketball last night. The fact that the home team has yet to win in the second round of the playoffs.
It made NBA history.
Is it? I mean,
no road team has ever won all 4 game ones, in NBA history in this round of the playoffs.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's nuts.
I mean, now you look at last night. With all the injuries that Cleveland has, no surprise that Indiana won that game. What was surprising is how they ended up winning that game, because Cleveland at one time had a double-digit lead. Hell, they had a 7-point lead with 40-some-odd seconds to go, and they still lost.
Let me tell you, and I'll tell you why they lost, because Indiana just simply out-hustled them, out-muscled them, and just got physical with them. And I tell you what, it was amazing to see the end of that ball game, because Indiana just wanted it more. I don't know how else to describe it. They just wanted it more, and they just took it away from Cleveland. That Indiana team's solid, man. And not only are they solid, they're physical. And Cleveland's not a physical ball club. They're more of a finesse team, and Indiana just put the wood to them.
At one point when they were up 20, I'll be honest, I was this close to texting Pledge saying, pull the audio from yesterday's show. Where I was saying, watch, Cleveland's going to win in a blowout. And you're like, I got Indy in 7.5. And, and then somebody's like, beer bet. No, I ain't going to beer bet that. You're insane. But I was like, even with the 20-point lead, I wasn't feeling like Cleveland was in control. I didn't know they would lose, but to still win in a blowout, I didn't see. Now, Coach Atkinson after the game was like, I mean, what do you say when you blow a 20-point lead?
Love how they competed. I love how they fought.
Really?
Down to all-stars,
They get your ass
DeAndre.
kicked.
We outplayed them for most of the game. We ran out of gas. We couldn't really separate ourselves. We couldn't get open in the half court. My only regret, Dan, is not playing more guys. We shortened the rotation, obviously. That's my sole regret. But I loved how we competed. We played our basketball, our identity, just tough one.
Now, Donovan Mitchell played his butt off.
Sure.
He did, and didn't have a lot of help. But and he was a little dinged up in that game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Game 3. But they certainly have their work cut out for them now, down 0-2 going to Indianapolis.
Yeah, if they get healthy, who knows? But when I hear him say we played to our identity, what is that, soft? I mean, Indiana just out-physicaled them down the stretch. Indiana played bully ball, and Cleveland couldn't do anything about it. That should not be your identity. You can tell me you ran out of gas, you messed up your rotations with your injuries, all of that, reasons or excuses. But don't tell me you played to your identity when I watched a team just push you around and push their way to a victory.
In that fourth quarter especially. And somebody called all the morons that said Tyrese Haliburton's the most underrated player in the NBA. That guy is
overrated. And chanting overrated in that crowd.
And so let me know that, because this guy, if he was, he certainly got a chip on his shoulder now and hits a big-time shot at the end, obviously, which turned out to be the game winner. But, again, I mean, they outscore him by 15 points in the fourth quarter. That's a team in Cleveland, I would say, was a little bit tired, but they were tired because they were getting beat up the entire ballgame.
And the crowd chanting overrated, I guess because of the athletic poll, Tyrese should expect that now, but he said he was even a little surprised to hear that.
That one was unexpected. I didn't know we had beef, but yeah, I guess good for them, man. That came out of nowhere, but it's just, I think now that label's there, that's what it's going to be every time we play somebody. Every time on the road, he'll probably follow me until the next poll comes out, and then we'll see if I'm number one again. But, for me, I just control what I can, man. And, overrate that.
I heard that out of 450 players in the NBA, there were only about 90 of them that actually voted him as overrated. So there are a lot of guys that just refuse to answer that question. But the guy's playing well. Whether you think he's overrated or not, he's playing well. And you got to love that attitude. He doesn't give a damn. Look, they're up 2-0 against the number one seed in the East.
And if you're Cleveland, and I know injuries are a part of this, but you've been the best team all year. Them and Oklahoma City are the one seeds. I believe Oklahoma City's actually, if they go to the finals, they would have home court, right? So yeah. Cleveland, the only time they would actually be on the road or, the road would be if they made it to the finals, which I've got Boston, and I'm going to stay with that, even though they actually have to win. But you look at it and you go, what's going on? And I think you could almost say the same in Minnesota. Golden State coming off of a 7-game series. Goes on the road. This is the one that really surprised me last night because I wondered if they would have enough gas in their tank. Minnesota's been waiting. They're hosting. Everything is going so well for Minnesota. And then Golden State shows up, and Steph Curry gets hurt, and Golden State still wins going away.
Well, Anthony Edwards, that guy, he had 1 point at halftime. And so he just, I don't know if he just took this game for granted. Was he tired? What? He finishes with 23 points, but he was awful in the first half. I mean, he really was, where his coach actually called him out on the post-game podium.
What is there to talk about? I mean, you're the leader of the team, and you got to come out and set the tone, in all ways that happens. And if your shot's not going, like you still have to carry the energy, So, I don't think there's, if I got to talk to guys about having the right energy coming into opening second round game, then, we're not on the same page. So.
Well, Chris Finch going full Greg Popovich there, calling out a player like that.
Well, his star player, too, at that. I guess good news for Minnesota. Steph Curry's already been ruled out for Game 2 with that hamstring injury, so he won't play in that, and Minnesota needs to win it before they head back to Cali.
You look at Steph Curry, a hamstring, grade 1, grade 2, and we all listen to that. If it is a grade 1, it's at least a week, so he'll miss more. Now, it's interesting when you look at the breakdown of schedule of games. So that building at San Francisco is pretty busy because now they got a WNBA team. In San Francisco, they canceled a Disturbed concert next week to make room for this basketball game, but they did not cancel a WNBA game in that building. So there's actually an extra day or two for when they get to, I think it's game 4, when you look at the schedule. So that does help Steph give them a little extra time instead of every other day, because the WNBA game that's in there, although they did postpone a concert, which sucks for those people that wanted to go see Disturbed. That said, though, Anthony Edwards has to be better. And you hear Chris Finch call him out. Anthony Edwards at this point did not hear specifically, I'm pretty sure, what his coach said. But reporters did tell him, hey, your coach kind of called you out.
Coach was saying that he relies on you to set the tone from the start, and he didn't quite see that. Do you feel like you were off at all just in that department, or just kind of the way that you started the game?
Nah. I feel like I played great defense. I just couldn't do nothing on offense, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you couldn't. In the first half, you didn't.
No.
That was a fact.
So why, Ant? Did you struggle?
Nothing. I got everywhere I wanted to get. Just couldn't finish. Yeah, I think that was the only thing. I got everything I was looking for in the first half. Yeah, just couldn't finish.
Couldn't make a shot. I mean, look, that happens sometimes, but if you're in the playoffs, and I'll be honest with you, watching that game, especially in the first half, it just looked like Minnesota, I don't say they weren't ready to play, but it's like they weren't interested in playing. You know, you come off a big series where they very successful, obviously, where most people thought maybe they might not win that against the Lakers, but it's like they just didn't seem interested to start this game. And Anthony Edwards in particular, it's like, we're here, we're playing basketball, no big deal.
It was odd. It was an odd start.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, playoff energy is different. Sometimes you say, well, you got to treat it like another game, but they're saying a Tuesday in January, right? And for Minnesota, for every team that worked their butts off to get home court advantage, to lose it. Everybody has lost home court advantage that had it. And one of those teams, maybe one of the bigger surprises, Boston. The way they lost to New York, missing 45 threes in game 1. They are a 10.5-point favorite in tonight's game 2 against New York. But the way they played last game in game 1 has pissed off a lot of the old hats that cover and follow the NBA. Now, Tim Legler on the All City podcast, Legs went on about, a 5-minute rant. We're not going to play all 5 minutes, but here's the best.
That's an abomination offensively to play the way they played. And look, if people are going to sit there, well, that's how they play all the time, man. Live by the 3, die by the 3. What are you talking about? Watch the game. So there's a big number of uncontested shots, and that's what the Celtics contingent and people that love the Celtics or that defend the Celtics are going to say today. Well, they're all uncontested threes. My ass. I watched, I wrote them all down. They were not. You can't play that way offensively while this lead's slipping away without figuring out a way to get to a mid-range jumper, something at the rim or free throws. It's embarrassing. You tailor-made the environment for the Knicks to do what they did to you. This is on the Celtics. They made it so simple to guard them. And I thought it was an abomination offensively.
Well, an abomination. Look, when you've got a 20-point lead, you might want to leave the three-pointer alone, right? I mean, leave it alone. These guys were playing the other night like they were down 20 and trying to catch up. And when it's not falling, maybe run some clock. I don't know. Call me crazy. I'm not a coach in the NBA, but maybe if you're up by 20, you might want to run that shot clock down.
You would think, but at the same time, that's what they do.
I don't care what they do.
But
they've
honestly,
got to adjust.
That is what they do, and they were open, uncontested threes.
Not according to Tim Legler, they weren't.
That's what bought. Now again, there's times where you're seeing a 3 get jacked up with 17 on the shot clock, 20 on the You're right, or I don't know. At some point, it's open. Drive, get to the foul line, do something to generate some offense. 40. Nobody wants to watch 45 missed threes, and that's one of the knocks on today's NBA when you see everybody comes down, they fire up at 3, rebound, it's going the other way. They fire up at 3, rebound going the other way. And so those of us that have been watching basketball for most of our lives, it's not as enjoyable to watch. Just a bunch of dudes jacking up threes, even when they're going in, because you want to see the strategic matchups, the one-on-one matchups, the offense get generated. That's what we love about basketball, and you don't see that, although analytics will tell you jacking up 63s is better than not. And
unless you miss 45 of them.
Well, it's a make-or-miss league.
Well, at some point in time, I don't care if that's what you do or not. If they're not falling and you're up 20 and you see that 20 lead whittling away, you got to do something else. And it just, I don't care if that's, and if Boston is only a 3-point shooting team, well, they could be in trouble unless they make 45 of them in a particular game. You've got to be more than just a 3-point shooting team. You've got to be able to do something else when that's not working. And I tell you what, I don't trust New York. Boston is going to win that series. I don't think there's any question in my mind about that. But to play and to shoot 63s when you're not making them, it just seems ludicrous to me. It's just ludicrous. And I don't care if that's what you do. You should find something else to do. Be a little creative in what you do. Instead of, hey, well, Tatum, go out and shoot threes. Well, I'm not making them, Coach. Well, I don't care. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Dumb.
10.5-point favorite tonight is Boston.
I'd lay the 10.5. If Boston doesn't roll New York tonight, then there's something wrong with them.
Oklahoma City, a 10.5-point favorite over Denver.
Now, see, that one, I beg to differ because I would take Denver in 10.5 because Oklahoma City's got no answer for Joker. They don't have any answer for that guy, and there's nobody on that team that can stop him. They're going to keep it close. I'm not saying Denver wins again, but Denver will keep this game close.
I think both home teams win tonight, but I'm with you. I think the Denver game will be closer because Joker. Now, second half Joker from game one needs to be there from the start. And if he does that, he might get 55 tonight. But it'll be interesting to see the adjustments that Oklahoma City makes. Oklahoma City, they have 68 wins, whatever. I mean, you look at Oklahoma City, the way they played all year, and then what we saw in the second half the other night was a bit of a surprise and probably a wake-up call. Boston, I thought, was going to the NBA Finals. A lot of these teams that lost game ones, and throw Minnesota in there from last night, playoff intensity is learned. I'm surprised to see Boston, what happened to them. New York brought that intensity. Denver brought that intensity. They've won a championship recently. That group knows what it takes to win a title, and they played that to that level in game one. Oklahoma City has to come back and match that tonight.
No, they absolutely have to. And it's funny because I heard somebody say they look tight. And maybe they did. I mean, getting this far in the playoffs, they're still a young team. They were a little bit tight, but they've got to be better tonight. And if they're not, they're going to go to Denver down 0-2, and then they're really in big trouble.
You know, because it's another year that here in San Antonio, we don't get to enjoy playoff basketball. I love the fact that there's chaos. I love the fact that these games, when you have no real rooting interest except for where you've laid your money, they've all been pretty damn exciting.
They really have.
Pretty entertaining. Yeah. There's been no reason to say, this game kind of sucks. Let me go find something else to watch. And I know I'm in the minority as I say this. The basketball has kept me from switching and watching more hockey. You know, a lot of times this time of year, I'd rather watch a hockey playoff game than I would an NBA playoff game. And big TV would have hockey, little TV would have basketball. It's been the opposite so far this NBA playoffs, not having a dog in the fight. Now, tonight the Stars are playing, so they'll have big TV in hockey.
My wife even was into that Indiana game as it was coming back, and I was, screaming about it and saying, "Oh my goodness," and then whatever, talking to the TV like I normally do during a game like that.
Well, if you're getting worked up, she's going to figure out why.
Well, yeah. And I'm saying, look at this Indiana game. They're coming back. They're just beating the hell out of Cleveland. And so we started watching, and the exciting finish, and then when Haliburton hits that 3, and it's like, damn, what a game. I mean, that was just one hell of an entertaining basketball game to watch.
Definitely. Good stuff. Again, Boston, New York is at 6. Late game tonight. Denver and OKC, and the Stars have game 1 against Winnipeg. For those of you that might want to give hockey a try.
Go Denver. That's my adopted team this year since the Spurs are out of it. And since they knocked off number 2, that was beautiful.
I thought that was a round 1 love.
Well, it was, but since they did what they were supposed to do and they got number 2 the hell out of here, I'm pulling for them now.
So it's like saying you want a second date with a one-night stand.
Sure. Well, she was good. Better than I thought.
That's against the rules, man.
Spurs are out. I got to pick somebody. So, hey, Denver's as good as anybody.
You just because I've been on Oklahoma City's bandwagon to go to the finals all year. You're just trying to be different.
No, not really. I love what Denver's doing right now. I like how they're playing. And again, Oklahoma City better figure out a way to stop that big fella, or they're going to be in trouble.
Going to be interesting. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocation, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
To the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Vegas. What a wild finish.
Your home for the NFL.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Sarah. She loves her motorcycle. What she doesn't love is when it suddenly rains. As she sits underneath a bridge waiting for it to stop, she grows quite fond of the graffiti on the overpass. She really likes the one with John Hart's Claire and wonders if they're still together. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get an online quote in as little as 3 minutes and see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-8841. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-8841. That's 800-550-8841. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Lion and Rose at the Dominion, your daily happy hour spot from 3 till 7 p.m. 250 drafts, wine, wells, and bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Lion and Rose at 23330 West I-10.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 five-star reviews on Google. So who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Listen up, San Antonio. At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can get college credit for the stripes you've earned. Turn your military rank into college credit to save time and money on an online degree. Eligible enlisted service members and previously enlisted veterans may receive up to 12 credits for select undergraduate courses based on their rank, and up to 90 credits in total for prior learning, military experience, and training. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu/SATX.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
It is the news of the day. The Dallas Cowboys, well, it appears they've solved their wide receiver 2 issue. They've traded for Steelers wide receiver George Pickens. Pittsburgh also gives Dallas a 2027 6th-round pick. Cowboys are sending the Steelers a 3rd-round pick next year and a 2027 5th-round pick in exchange. Now, Clarence Hill of All City Dallas is reporting the contract talks with star edge rusher Micah Parsons have stalled.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. You know what day it is.
Hump Day! That sounded just alike, didn't it? Did you tell the difference?
In stereo, huh?
In stereo.
Huh.
What are you
doing?
Day! Hump Day! Yeah. Happy Hump Day, everybody.
It's a good Wednesday.
It is a good Wednesday. We got the Cowboys doing something they don't normally do. Taking a chance, taking a swing, and getting a quality wide receiver.
Dude, huge news to wake up to that George Pickens is now a Dallas Cowboy. Cowboys give up a 3rd-round pick next year, and there's some other picks, a late pick. But the big thing is the 3rd-round pick. And that's not overpaying for a guy like George Pickens. So that is a fantastic move for the Dallas Cowboys. And quite frankly, well, you know, you hear different rumors and you go, well, Jerry's not going to do that.
Yeah. Right. That's why it's so surprising. I didn't think Jerry would make a move like this. But he did say, remember, what was it, a couple weeks ago or right before the draft, that he had a couple of things working. And obviously, this was one of them.
It was, and my guess is before the draft, Pittsburgh was looking for a 2nd-round pick for Pickens. And when they couldn't get that, 3rd-round pick, that gets it done. And no new contract, so it's a 1-year rental. So you expect to get a George Pickens on his best behavior. We're going to react to it throughout the show here. You can as well, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment there. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Now, there was somebody on there that wants to do a beer bet with me. My Jets against your Stars.
Who are the Jets? Winnipeg?
Yes.
All right. See, I knew that. How about that?
You sound confident in knowing that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know if that's a good bet or not.
It wouldn't be for Ryan. I'd hate to take his beer.
Well, you should take him up on that.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if, you and I do a beer bet, that's one thing. Doing a beer bet with a listener, that's another, because it's like taking candy from a baby.
Wow. Now, is this what game is this?
Game 1.
Game 1?
Game 1.
Where? In Dallas?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Yeah. So there are 2 reasons that you should watch tonight, or maybe 3. 2 of them should be standing behind the Stars coach tonight on the other side of the glass, but she always gets a front row seat. And then, of course, it should be a hell of a hockey game.
Well, I mean, obviously the Winnipeg Jets are good enough to get to this round of the playoffs, so they're a good team.
They are a good team. Although, actually, I'm looking at it. I think tonight's game actually is in Winnipeg.
Winnipeg
Yeah.
tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then we won't have 2 things behind the coach.
They grow them in Winnipeg, too.
Yeah, but not like that.
Yeah,
Dude, they don't grow. No, they don't. Not like in Texas, brother.
Those aren't naturally grown either.
Yeah, but the plastic surgeons are better in Texas. They know what they're doing. Winnipeg. That name Winnipeg. That just sounds goofy, doesn't it? Sound like, arr, like a pirate. I got a Winnipeg.
Really?
And a parrot.
You're a dumb butt.
Thank you.
Yes.
What was your thought process in trying to come up with that?
Well, it's a peg, right? So it's a Winnipeg. There's got to be that's like a souped up peg for a pirate. All right, I obviously not getting
You normally don't get punch drunk 2 hours in. It normally takes 3.
It's been a good day. Now,
has it been a good day?
It has been.
Has it been a good day?
Yes.
You want to tell the people about your neighbors?
All right.
Here we go.
Dude, I don't know if every neighborhood has people like this.
Yes, every neighborhood has people like this.
So I had the sprinkler system in my yard worked on, right? And they came out and I just want to make sure everything was working all right before we get into the hot summer and all of that stuff. So he did. And so I guess he messed with the sprinkler times and stuff like that. So I leave the house this morning about 7:45, and the sprinklers in the front yard are going off, and there is a river going down my sidewalk into the street and down the street. And I'm like, damn, that's weird. So I go over there and look. I don't see anything leaking, right? All the sprinkler heads are pointing the right direction. I'm going, well, I guess probably shouldn't have watered today because we got a lot of rain, and it's just that. So I drive off and don't think anything about it. I get a text from my wife who left for work after me and says the same thing. You need to check on the sprinklers. There's a river running down the street. I said, yeah, I did. So I get home and I do that. Getting ready, and I'm looking at the show, preparing. I get a knock on the door. Not a doorbell, a knock on the door.
A strongly worded knock.
And so I open the door, and my dog is going nuts, right? And which drives me nuts. So I open the door, and I went, whoa! Literally. There's a lady standing at my front door with an eye patch and glasses. This older lady.
An older lady with an eye patch.
Older lady
If you're wondering why pirates are on Ryan Eagle's mind when it comes to Winnipeg.
Older lady with an eye, and I'm like, and then there was a guy an old man with a cane, and another lady standing there. And I opened the door, and she says, yeah, I mean, you might have a leak in your thing. There's water running all down the street. And I said, yes, ma'am, I'm aware, and we're aware of it. We're taking care of it. And as soon as I say that, the old man in the street, yeah, that thing was running all the way down by my house at the end of the street. And I'm like, I'll say it again. We're aware of it, sir. Thank you very much. I got to go. So I'm like, yeah, it's all the way down here.
No bleep. I'm like, man. Yeah, hillbilly neighbors.
So, well, and next day, now I'm really going to get a strongly worded letter because they probably weren't satisfied with that. They'll go to the HOA and I'll get but I mean, it's like my mistake was probably watering the grass today, but it's automatic because Wednesday's my day.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything illegal. Wednesday's my day.
Yeah, hey, you saw his water police.
Exactly.
Don't look up his address.
It was my day, and it was between the right hours,
yes.
So everything was great.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see where that goes. But I swear, when I opened the door, I went, whoa! I was like, woo! That's why, look, dude, I don't want to know my neighbors. I don't want to know any of them. I've always been that way. I'm not trying to be rude or anything,
Yeah,
but
you
it's
are.
like, well, no, I don't want to know them.
Well, they might be really good people.
I'm sure they're great people. Great people, concerned, and they got nothing else to do, obviously, but worry about what the hell's wrong with my sprinklers.
Well, that's true. And they wanted you to know water was running all the way down past his house.
I did.
It's down yonder.
And it's like I can see it. I'm aware of it.
Uh-huh.
So, it is being taken care of as we speak.
They were just trying to be nice.
Sure.
They were
just
trying
to be nosy as hell. That's what. And the thing is, shame on you, whippersnapper.
You water waster.
Hey, you might want to call somebody about that leak that's going down the street.
Thanks, Pleasure. I appreciate it. So it's like, damn. Yes, Karen and Ken and Karen Jr. were knocking on my door today.
Mm-hmm. They're all Karens.
Yes. So I'm sure they're great people. They were just trying to help. But if I get a letter from the HOA, I'm really going to go ballistic.
Really?
Yes.
Did you find out where they live?
Well, apparently the old man lives at the end of the street.
So you're going to have to rewater your grass, let it run down, and then follow the water trail to find where this guy lives.
I don't really want to know where he lives. I don't care.
Did you figure out what was up with the lady in her eye patch?
I have no clue. I didn't ask her.
Did you talk in your pirate voice?
No, I was just trying to get the hell out of there as quick as possible.
You slammed the door on
my
him.
dog's yapping in the background, and that's driving me nuts. I'm telling the dog to shut up, and then I got this lady over here telling me it's scaring the hell out of me with this eye patch, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm just trying to prepare a show, lady.
She's trying to conserve water. What if you had a major leak?
But I didn't, because by the time
she didn't know you didn't know.
By the time they showed up, it's dry. And so, I mean,
it wasn't dry when they showed up.
Well, you got little patches out. Yes, it was, because the water went off by, 8 o'clock?
Uh-huh.
So it was dry. But, they were taking notes, obviously. Well, somebody got water running down the damn street. Wow. So that's what happened.
Patches does sound like a pirate name.
It does.
So does Winnipeg, damn it.
Carlos Nunez on our YouTube chat says, Joe and the lady, they just didn't see eye to eye.
Exactly. But, I mean, seriously, and I know this sounds disrespectful, and I don't care.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, when you open your door and there's a lady there with a patch on her eye, and I was like, damn, whoa. I mean, for a minute, it was like, whoa, what the? I just was going back to the old movie Poltergeist. Remember the old man? That old dude?
I mean, sometimes you got to control yourself. I mean, obviously.
So the last thing I was expecting was a lady with an eye patch.
Well, I mean,
he's supposed to wear sunglasses?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
That's not the point. The point is, I wasn't expecting it, so it kind of it took me a minute. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
So I got Karens in the neighborhood, and again, I'm sure they're just trying to be nice, helpful.
Dude,
but nobody else came by.
Well,
and it gave a damn about that.
It's all the old people to go for a walk before it gets too hot.
That's all it was. I guarantee they were calling each other. Damn, water's running down the street. What the hell are they thinking up there?
Let's go find the source.
Exactly. And they walked and followed the water line. Boom, right there.
Tom wants to know who is the grumpy person, the old people or Joe. I mean, they're one and the same. I mean, the old people and Joe.
I was just fine, Tom. Just fine.
But you would think in a retirement community they wouldn't knock on the door because they realize how difficult it is for most people of that age to get up out of their recliner to get all the way over to the door.
First of all, this is not a retirement community. Second of all, I was not in a recliner. I was at my.
But most people in your neighborhood are.
I was at
that day. I mean, the
kitchen bar.
You live in a neighborhood where they drink coffee and actually read the newspaper still.
That's probably a good question. I don't get the newspaper anymore, but they might. I don't know.
They sound like they probably clip out articles and coupons.
I guarantee you, there's pictures, everything, water running down the street.
You missed a golden opportunity to tell those people.
Get off my lawn. You know, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. But I found it funny. The eye patch lady walks up to the door and knocks, and the other two stand down there in the street.
So the eye patch lady had to.
Yeah, the man with the cane didn't come up. You would think he might want to come, although he's got a cane. Maybe he couldn't make it up the steps.
He got steps. I mean, but a lady with an eye patch. I mean, although you got to be prepared for anything. I probably shouldn't do this, but I will. I just got a text. About 10 minutes ago from my niece. About 15 minutes now. So 3:51. Can I read this text?
Yeah, please do.
Can I read
funny
this?
As hell.
Is it really? My niece, her husband's stepmom is going through Alzheimer's, and they had to check her into a home today. It's been a big deal in a process, as you can imagine. So Bree just sent a text. We checked Luke's stepmom into her home today. Her CNA is a little person. He hopped up on the bed to change her. I shouldn't be laughing, but oh my goodness, I've never seen that. Now, granted, Bree is a nurse. She has seen it all.
But Bree's like 6 foot tall.
Yeah, Bree is 6 feet
She's
tall.
tall, yeah.
And she has a thing for little people.
A thing in a good way or a bad way?
Just like
a thing.
Like, there's just something of every time she sees one. It's kind of like you and an eye patch. Oh, there's one, right?
According to Brad Williams, a lot of people have a thing for little people.
Yes, that is true. And she's a big Brad Williams fan. I can only imagine her reaction. And she's like, I can't stop laughing, but what do you do?
I don't know what you do. Just the way the guy hopped up on the bed. What does he get between her legs? I'm serious.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Wow.
Oh, man. Here on the screen, it says Sam wants to talk about Joe's leak. Sam, you're on the Blitz.
Yeah, Sam.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but if you have a leak in your yard, you can probably call somebody about it. You know that, right?
Well,
like a plumber?
You missed the first part of the story, Sam.
Oh, that's a great idea, Jim.
So I just had somebody out there and to just do maintenance, right? Say, I want everything checked, make sure all the heads are good and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't have a leak unless this guy missed it. But again, I didn't see a leak. It looked like everything was working properly.
And after the sprinkler system quit running, all the water did dry up. So it does not, like, I haven't been there, heard the story. I can tell you, it's not a leak. He just overwatered because of all the rain.
That's it. I think my yard was saturated. It didn't sink in and started running down the sidewalk.
All right, got it. Thank you, guys.
Right. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, Joe. Call a plumber.
Well, my mistake was watering today, or not going out and turning
Your
off
mistake was answering the door.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be a lady with a patch. How was I supposed to know that?
How many people knock on your door?
Well, I thought
I mean, the Amazon guy. Yeah. Well, it's a FedEx guy. I know your wife. It's the Amazon guy.
Well, he doesn't knock.
No, he just
leaves it there. I don't know, dude. I was not expecting that. But I mean, if somebody knocks at your door, you answer it, don't you?
Depends. I check cameras first.
Speaking of depends.
You got a little guy to jump up there and change everything.
See, he doesn't even have to get on his knees to check my sprinklers. He didn't bend over.
Oh, stop.
But everything last night was wee.
Was that after the Brad Williams show?
Yeah.
Oh.
My wife has, anywhere we go, she always buys a koozie. Always has a koozie. If you need a koozie, ask my wife. She's got a koozie. So she brought a koozie at the Brad Williams show. Finally read that thing the other day. You know what it says?
What?
A mini keg.
It
and it says, we'll get you a little drunk.
See, this guy, he understands. He knows he's a little person, obviously.
You think? All right, Captain Obvious.
He's not afraid to, have some fun with it. Most people get triggered.
The people that know my phone number that are texting me about the that story and some of the comments there. Yeah. All right, I'm glad I shared that story. Give you guys a laugh.
It's great, yeah.
Because we all have a visual when you think about it.
The guy hops up on the bed. Because Brad Williams couldn't do that in his act. He had to go get steps.
No, he talked about getting steps for the dog. That's part of his show, is he gets steps, like for people like Joe with a little dog that needs a staircase so they can get up to the bed. That's what Brad Williams needs. This guy just hopped right up there.
Well, that's good for him. Although Brad Williams' wife was offered to throw him up there.
Well, I'm sure that happens in other aspects of their life. Let's talk about George Pickens, the newest member of the Dallas Cowboys. Next,
I just thought of rodeo for some reason.
The Blitz.
Before we go, though, I got to tell you about something that I really do love in my home, and that is my Connecticut Quality Water Softener. I love it. Had it for a while now, and I tell you what, it is a game changer when it comes to water softeners. And if you don't have one, you really should get one. Treat yourself to a Connecticut Quality Water Softener. It really is head and shoulders better than anything you have. And if you don't have one, obviously you need one because of the hard water all over San Antonio and South Texas. All their products are made in America, and Connecticut's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. The best thing about it doesn't run on electricity. It only provides soft water when you need it, but if you need it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's going to provide soft water. It's outstanding. It is the best in the business, bar none. And right now, for a limited time, they're sweetening the deal. You're going to receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station that the fine folks at Connecticut will install right there at your kitchen sink. It's like having bottled water right there at your kitchen sink. It is fantastic. They'll give you $400 for your old water softener. You trade that thing in. And how about free money? Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. It is fantastic. You don't want to wait. This offer is going to end soon. You want to call Connecticut of San Antonio in the Hill Country. The numbers to call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at connecticutsa.com. And you know the jingle. Sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
Looking for a place with character, cold drinks, and real Texas charm? Pull up a chair at the Lion and Rose in the Dominion. This local favorite, run by the Tharp family, serves up Southern hospitality, military pride, and seriously good food. Happy hour daily from 3 till 7 p.m. with $2.50 drafts, select wine, wells, and mimosas. Plus, tasty bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Now open at 23330 West I-10. The Lion and Rose.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's Hump Day. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. He's Jason Minix over there with a mouthful of something. I think it's a kolache.
Well, Marcy Grace was in studio earlier, and she brought a box of goodness from the Rockport Bakery.
Yeah, she did. And apparently, she lives in Rockport and likes this bakery, and I know why. It had a sugary twist thing that was very good. You had a kolache, I think, right?
I did. I had a kolache.
Yeah, and you tried to shove that whole thing in your mouth, huh?
No, I took it bite at a time. Problem is, I thought there was another minute left in this commercial break, so I had time for one more bite, and nope.
Pledge
didn't give us the 1 minute warning. I was expecting that, never got it.
That's all good.
And now Pledge knows there's a box of donuts over here, so we're screwed. Son of a biscuit eater.
Yeah.
Sugary twist thing, huh?
Dude, it was
no,
great.
Pledge,
Yeah.
it's awful.
It's fantastic.
You don't want
Pledge.
any of this.
Is that a technical name for it?
Yes.
I don't know. It's a twist donut. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Your donut shop, and it's got sugar all over it. Never had one with sugar. Usually have like a glaze on there. This one have a glaze. It's just sugar.
Well, in Rockport Bakery is pretty legendary. You're down there, and
yeah, I love Rockport.
Yeah.
Rockport's a great place. It really is. Just a chill place. You know, Port Aransas more of a party place. Rockport, you just go and you chill. Have some good food, lots of drinks.
There's going to be a new bar opening up soon in Rockport called the Salty Dolphin.
Wow.
That I can't wait for that place to open.
Looking forward. Now, isn't there one of those in Corpus?
Yeah, North Padre.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good place. I like that place.
Salty Dolphin's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so I expect Salty Dolphin in Rockport to also be a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will be.
I'm sure it's going to be a great place. Cowboys make a big old trade today. Give up a third-round pick next year and a fifth-round pick in 27 for a guy named George Pickens. You probably heard of him. And look, there's some baggage that comes with a move like this because, well, it's George Pickens. But the production, you get that, it's a great trade for the Dallas Cowboys. You want to react to it? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. LT's been hanging on for a long time to talk about this. LT, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
I've been on a long Hey, if you guys can talk about your peg leg.
It's not my peg leg. That's Ryan Eagle's neighbor.
Keep your peg in your pants.
Well, sometimes that's hard to do.
He's got 5 kids, man. Think about your audience.
I was just sitting here thinking, Joe, you must live in a swanky neighborhood. You know me. I grew up on the south side, man, over by the old Waterman facilities, souther of that. And if that was happening in my neighborhood, I wouldn't get people complaining. I'd have guys calling me, "Hey man, can you turn the water up a little? My inner tube is touching the bottom down here. My kids want to play, bro. Underneath."
Nice. Well, unfortunately, although it's not a retirement community, there aren't a bunch of kids in my neighborhood.
You're.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you call them kids. They're preparing themselves for when they graduate.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we're in the same boat with the Cowboys, and I'm trying to verify this, Joe, because I grew up a Cowboys fan, True Blue, all that. I can't remember if it was Danny White or the Tom Landry fire. I can't remember when it was when I said, you know what, I've had enough of this, and walked away. And I almost want to say it was reverse when they started being successful again, was when they got they had one amazing receiver, and then they got a really good running back, and then they added a second receiver. I can't remember. I'm old. Turn the water off. But I'm just trying to say, are you going to outwardly support the Cowboys now that they have this second receiver? Is it a strong enough move with the lineman, a second receiver, Or do we go, nah, well, the Texans are still an option.
Yeah, no, the Texans are not an option at all. The Cowboys, look, I've been covering the Dallas Cowboys now for 30 years. And so because I do sports in San Antonio, and the Dallas Cowboys happen to be the most popular team in San Antonio. So they're good for business, LT. Not necessarily that I'm a fan. I want them to do well because when they do well, it's good for business.
No,
even when they do bad, it's good for business.
You try to convince yourself of this and everybody else, but you are a Tennessee Titan fan, old school Oiler fan, and Joe and I go way back, way back. I mean, we used to play tag football every weekend, and he would wear a Cody Carlson jersey.
Yeah.
He's old school Oiler.
Yes.
And then they moved, and his fandom went to Tennessee. How many Tennessee Titan shirts do you own?
2. Yeah. An Eddie George.
That's a jersey.
And a Vince Young. Oh, I don't have any shirts.
You don't have like a golf shirt.
No.
Long sleeve, nice, comfortable shirt.
No.
How many Cowboy shirts do you have?
Shirts like that?
Yeah.
3? Maybe? I don't know. I'd have to count.
Yeah, there's more than that. I'm gonna guess 5. I've been with you when you bought 3 or 4 of them.
Well, yeah. Every time we go to training camp, I'll pick one.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're in that shop, giving Jerry money. We went to a game. You had to buy a new shirt for that. You're more of a Cowboy fan than you want to admit.
I'm a fan. I hope they do well, and I really like Jerry Jones. I'm a big fan of Jerry Jones. Mm-hmm. So, in all of that respect, yeah, I'd like for them to do well. It'd be nice if they, make the playoffs and maybe win a game in the playoffs. That'd be nice.
Sure.
Maybe win 2. That'd be a treat.
Or 3 or 4.
Well, 2. Let's start with 2, and then we'll work on 3.
I'm greedy. I got a George Pickens now.
So we'll see. Look, I'm happy about this trade. I am. I think it's a low risk, high reward trade for the Cowboys, and I think I'm happy that Jerry did it. Pulled the trigger and made it happen.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Special guest will join us coming up, Wade Phillips. Be good to hear from Coach Wade. I believe these will be his first public comments since having to take a leave of absence. We'll hear from Wade Phillips coming up on the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, now that we've had a little bit of a break in the weather, it's a great time to call my good friends over at Stevens Roofing and Solar. Family-owned company, locally based company. I love them over there. Every time I walk in there, I'm treated like family. And you will be too, for that matter. That's what they do at Stevens Roofing, and it's a big reason why they've been in business as long as they've been. They treat people right. Not only that, they do a great job. You don't stay in business as long as Stevens Roofing has been in business if you're not doing it right and have a long, long, long list of satisfied customers. Look, you want to get ready because we're still early in May, and that means that a lot of those spring storms can pop up before you know it. Make sure your roof is okay, and Stevens Roofing and Solar is making it easy for you to do that. Right now, when you give them a call at 210-785-0994, they're going to send a crew out. They'll give you a free, no-obligation roof inspection, and they'll let you know if they think you need a new roof. They'll tell you that. If it's just a minor repair, they'll let you know that, or if it's just a simple confirmation that your roof is in great shape, they'll let you know that as well. Either way, they're going to give you that peace of mind that you need when those storms come rolling in. You want to keep your family safe. Your house, obviously, your biggest investment. Keep it safe, do it right, make sure it's done right, and you can do that with Stevens Roofing. Why don't you give them a call? You can do it right now, 210-785-0994.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, where the road wins continue, we'll see if a home team can actually win a playoff game.
And we'll talk more about the Cowboys' moves and the NBA draft lottery coming up. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Gentlemen, testosterone levels can start dropping in your 30s, leading to low energy, reduced libido, and slower metabolism. Rock's Discount Vitamins is making it easy to take back control. No appointments and no prescriptions. Just head into a Rock's and walk out with a natural solution tailored to you. Our powerful line of natural testosterone boosters can help increase energy, build muscle, rev up your metabolism, and reignite your drive. You'll feel the difference and fast. Visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God in South Texas.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, listen up, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, long nights monitoring cyber activity, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training. We call that credit where credit is due. Whether you're active duty and looking at what's next, or a veteran looking for something new, our degrees and certificate programs teach the application of emerging technologies and enduring life skills. So get started on a degree or certificate with personalized local support services and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee through May 30th. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Progressive knows there are two things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The Lion and Rose at the Dominion, your daily happy hour spot from 3 till 7 p.m. 250 drafts, wine, wells, and bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Lion and Rose at 23330 West I-10.
It's the San Antonio Brahmas Roundup with interim head coach Peyton Hardy on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yeah, kinda. You know, we made some changes when there was some changes made. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Let's go back to Wednesdays with Wade, because Wade Phillips joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Coach, appreciate you jumping on and talking with us on this Wednesday afternoon. I think we got to start with how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing better. Yeah, I'm doing better. I'm feeling a lot better, and change of medicines, it's actually really helped me. So I'm feeling a lot better.
No, we're all glad
I'm going to be at the game. I'm going to be at the game this week for sure.
Oh, good. Now, when you say you're going to be at the game, just as I guess you'll be sitting there, will you be on the sidelines? Where will you be?
Yeah, I won't be coaching the game, but I'll be there. So I want to support our team. I'm not giving up on our team, and I know those guys. I'm trying to back them all I can, because I really believe they got a lot of heart, and and I know they work hard. So. We're going to keep our fingers crossed and work hard and try to get this game.
Coach Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Coach, if you could take us through what you can share, what you want to share with what's going on and why you had to take a leave of absence.
Yeah, well, I had some health problems that where I couldn't do the job I needed to do, and it wasn't fair to the team, the players to one game I was in the dressing room the whole game. I was sick and I couldn't even go out on the field. So, that's just not fair to the team. So, I came back home, and I'm working on it. I've got a good doctor here, and I'm getting in a good routine here. And so, and I may be back before the end of the season, but I'm working at it. That's why I'm going to the game. I'm trying to get out as much as I can and do normal things and certainly root for my team.
Well, that's great news, Coach, and I know everybody's happy to hear that. As you've been at home, have you been in contact with Coach Pardee and maybe spitballing with him on stuff?
Yeah, and he's you go from the oldest coach in the league in football to the youngest. So, and he confides in me, and he has some questions, and I think I helped him some with the answer to some of that stuff. But he's a really great young coach, so he's doing a good job with them, and they haven't given up. Their attitude is they're trying to win and trying to win every play, every game, one game at a time. So, and I really support that.
Absolutely. Coach Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz. Obviously a difficult season. You go into it with a lot of high expectations and, illness. And, obviously every Spur fan knows what they went through with Greg Popovich, and then they appointed Mitch Johnson, the interim coach. What goes through the process, if you will, of how Peyton Pardee, who I think in the same week got promoted to offensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden he's the interim head coach. Can you kind of take us through the process of how you decide who will take over on an interim basis?
Well, actually, the league made that decision, but he was a coordinator. He was just coordinating the special teams, but coaching the wide receivers. He was an outstanding wide receiver coach, and our special teams were doing great, and it was because of him. So, and we lost our offensive coordinator. So he really coached offense and special teams, and so I think he was the one I know he's the one that the league felt like could do it, and I think they're right.
Well, Coach. You see a lot of assistant coaches coming up in your time, and the ones that you probably have a bright future and those that maybe not. When you look at Peyton Pardee, it looks like to me he's got a pretty bright future in this business. Oh yeah, he's he's from a football family, which I'm all for. Yeah, and he has a great background, and then but he's a really smart. Articulate, bright person overall, and especially in football, he has a good feel for the game too. Not just knowing the X's and O's and how to teach well, but he has a good grasp of how the game's going and what we need to do. So I think he's got a bright future.
Coach Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz. And I know it's got to be tough for you because it's your team, and to not be around the guys every day, but the communication is there. There's been so much going on. I know a trade was made this week, a change at quarterback. How much input do you have or conversation are you a part of with the day-to-day runnings of the Brahmas right now?
Not day-to-day, week-to-week. I talk with Mark Haliburton, our GM, and in contact with him. And of course, I've talked to Peyton. I've talked to most of the coaches, since I've been gone. So we still communicate, and I mostly encouragement, not telling them what to do, but encouragement if they have any questions about anything. I talked to Will about defense and what's going on there. So. I'm keeping in contact with the team. Well, Wade, you've been in this business a long time. You have good years, and sometimes you have years like the Brahmas are having this year. Regardless, the guys are playing hard and they're doing the best that they can. I mean, it's just, I guess, one of those years where you've got the talent, but things just aren't clicking this year for some reason. Yeah, but that happened to us last year. We had 6 starters out. There for a while, 6 and 7 starters out, and I believe they had 6 or 7 out this last game. And I said when we were playing St. Louis last year that in the playoff game, I said, hey, we're going to play better because we got all our starters back, and we did, and we beat them. So, it's still, it's not an excuse, but injuries certainly are a factor in any league, and they've had a lot of starters out lately.
They have, and again, it's just things that you kind of hope they come together soon. Maybe Friday night in the Alamo Dome against the DC Defenders. You're going to be there watching, probably have a pretty good seat. I'm just curious, Coach, because we've talked often about, those armchair quarterbacks, the armchair radio guys. What is the armchair head coach like when you're watching the game and, either you like a call, don't like a call, all you got to do, you're like us, you're sitting in the living room screaming at the TV.
Yeah, I'm pretty loud sometimes. No, not really. I try to evaluate things certainly, and I told Peyton before. I thought, maybe we ought to do this or that, or will, or offensively and defensively. Since we talk back and forth, and they take it for what it is. I mean, I think they appreciate me saying things, but. They still got to do the job themselves, and they're there doing it. And I'm just, watching on TV or now in the stands. So it's still their final decision, and I believe in what they're going to do. But I try to say, hey, why don't we run the tunnel screen a little more, or different things like that every once in a while. And sometimes they do it. So.
Well, I think so. I mean, I would do what you told me to do, Coach. That's for sure. I would assume that the players and everybody going to be very happy to see you on Friday night.
Well, I'm happy to see them for sure. We went all through training camp and certainly the first of the season, and they played hard for me, and I'll always appreciate that. And there's a lot of good guys. There's a lot of good, Mark Littlebridge does a great job of getting the personnel, but he also does a great job of getting, part of our criteria was having the right kind of people, having good guys that, do the right thing. And we have a lot of high character guys.
Absolutely. And again, high character guys that handle situations. Seems like Kellen Mond handled the quarterback change situation extremely well. Hogan came in, played well, although perfect pass, and there was a drop. And then this week, the Brahmas make a trade for a wide receiver. You get D. Anderson in exchange for Darius Phillips and a move with Memphis. Is that a trade that you like, that you think could help spark that offense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they had an unfortunate drop last week, which would have really changed the game. I think we know that. But from a guy that's probably one of the best receivers in the league. So, and now you add another receiver, high caliber receiver. I think that'll really help us this week, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
In your overall thoughts when Coach Pardee decided to make a change at quarterback, as a head coach, when he did that in the game, in Kellen's first game back in San Antonio, knowing everything that meant, I can only imagine how difficult that is. At the time that he did it as a head coach, were you like, yep, he's got a great pulse of what's going on and what needs to happen?
Well, that's a head coach's decision, certainly, and it's it's a team decision. You got to try to say what's the best for the team, and that's what he felt like we should do, and you go with that. So I've been there myself, and sometimes it's injuries, sometimes it's just the guys having trouble and we need a change for a little bit, or maybe a whole season. You never know.
I would imagine, Coach, that's one of the more difficult decisions you have to make when your quarterback's struggling and you need a change. To me, that would be a tough decision, I would think.
Yeah, it's just it's more public because if you change the right guard, nobody says anything about that, and it's still the same thing. You're saying, well, we got a guy that needs to play there, or this guy's not playing well enough. We need to try to look at somebody else. So, but when it's the quarterback, it's all the eyes are on that. So, but it's the same on any player, offense or defense.
Absolutely. Again, the Brahmas taking on D.C. Friday night, 7 o'clock in the Alamo Dome. Get your tickets, UFLBrahmas.com. It's their Let's Rodeo game. Now, Coach, you missed the Fiesta game, but I can tell you that Dancing Wade Fiesta medal might have been the more popular Fiesta medal this year. And I know it's not Fiesta, but I think you got to be wearing those on Friday night at the Dome.
No, well, I'll do that then. Yeah. That's it's pretty cool, really. I mean, I hate to.
It's my favorite medal. I'll tell you that right now. I love it.
Well, I'm really honored, certainly, that they did that. It is kind of funny looking, but it's got the dancing feet, so I don't know that I can do that well. But
I think your dancing feet inspired the medal, Coach.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know, but it's funny. It's funny, but it is an honor, and I appreciate them doing it.
It's going to be fun. Can't wait to see you Friday in the Dome. Coach, before we let you go, as we visit with Wade Phillips here on the Blitz, I do have one Cowboys question for you, and that is they make a major trade today to get a wide receiver in George Pickens, who has had issues with attitude in the past, with teammates, pouts some when he doesn't get the football enough, coming in to be a wide receiver too. When you bring in a player that has an attitude like that, if you will, or at least that perception, Mike Tomlin has given up on you, how do you take a player like that and try to get him to fit in your culture, in your environment, like Schottenheimer is going to have to do now in Dallas?
Yeah, if you remember, we brought Terrell Owens in when I was there, and he had two terrific seasons. So, he helped us win a playoff games that they hadn't won in 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, it's working with people. It's not handling people. It's working with people. And Brian, I know Brian. He's got the ability to talk with and work with a guy and tell him how he wants it done, and then see if it's done the right way. So, sometimes you don't know those guys. I mean, like Terrell Owens. I don't know if you remember what he cried one game when the quarterback didn't. But he cared about the team, and I could talk to him and say, hey, you need to do this more or that more. But one thing about Terrell was he was a tremendous worker. And he was always in tremendous shape, and he had something really going great for him. I don't know the Pickens guys, but if he has anything like Terrell Owens, he'll do a good job.
That'll be fun. We'll see.
Going to be interesting for sure. Certainly makes the Cowboys better. It's what they needed to get, and if it works, man, that might be a difference maker. And if not, it's a 1-year deal, and he's out the door. So low risk, high reward for the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's how it goes. Wade Phillips, glad you're feeling better. Glad you're able to do this today. And I know the fans are going to be thrilled to see you at the Alamo Dome Friday night. While not coaching, at least you're there. And I think that makes a whole lot of difference for the fans and probably for your players as well.
Well, good. Yeah, I'll take some pictures of the fans if they're around. So.
All right.
You offer that up. You got to come down from the suite and hang out somewhere where they can come find you because they will.
Okay. Well, good.
Good deal. All right, Wade. Appreciate you doing this. I'm glad you're feeling better. We'll catch up soon.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Great.
Wade Phillips on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. Again, the Brahmas playing on a Friday night.
Yep.
7 o'clock. UFLBrahmas.com to get your tickets. Just glad that he's doing well enough to do that. We'd love to have video. He's at home.
Yeah.
Technology. Don't feel bad. Pat Green couldn't figure it out either.
He couldn't. Yeah, exactly. So, and I had a hard time too. So, at some points, it happens to us older folks, including Pat Green.
Yes.
Glad to hear from Wade Phillips, though, Jason. I mean, Happy to hear that he's getting better and recovering, and he's well enough to come to the game on Friday night. And that Friday night game is going to be a blast.
Yes.
I mean, the football obviously is the star of the show, but we have Marcy Grace. Now we know Wade Phillips is going to be there. It's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. You got to learn that new Brahmas anthem that we debuted for you earlier today on this show. You can find it on all the Brahmas Facebook fan pages, Marcy Grace's fan. And again, it's kind of one of those crowd participation type songs. It's an anthem. So, kind of like, I don't want to call it a fight song, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, there's parts of it where, the crowd needs to get into it. And this is something that the Brahmas wanted. They contacted Marcy, and she was able to deliver a hell of a song.
That's incredible.
So, Pickens. Is a pledge you're going to play?
That's what I thought he was going to, yeah.
Maybe? No.
He's working on it.
He's working on it. Trust me, it's a hell of a song.
Well, why don't you sing it for us, Jason?
I don't know it yet.
Oh.
That's your crowd part right there. You got to learn that before Friday's game. Wade had some interesting things to say about George Pickens. Different perspective than what most of us have. Let's talk about it coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, we've been talking about the weather clearing up. The sun's out, and the weather's going to be good. It looks the forecast is looking good all weekend long, which means you need to get to golfclubtexas.com and make your tee time for this weekend out at the Golf Club of Texas. Love that place. We all played out there a couple of weeks ago, and I tell you what, it's in fantastic shape. And we've had more rain since then, so it's just got to be lush out there. It's going to be fantastic. The improvements they've made to the Golf Club of Texas are second to none. It's incredible. Brand new golf cart paths all over the place. They've zero-scaped some stuff, new sod. It really is a plush golf course. In fact, you might think it's a country club when you get out there. It's not, though. It is open to the public 7 days a week. And now, again, some of the best course conditions in town. And the people out there, they're going to treat you like royalty. When you drive up, you go into the pro shop to get your stuff taken care of. Then you go out and you go to the Tin Cup Bar and Grill. They're just going to they act like they're very happy to see you. And I know that they are. They're going to take very good care of you. The Tin Cup Bar and Grill is fantastic. The food out there is outstanding. And they got just about any kind of drink you want out there. Lots of varieties of beer, any kind of cocktails that you might want. Go on out there. It's a perfect way to spend a Saturday or Sunday or any other day that ends in Y for that matter. You go out, you play a little golf, have something to eat, a couple of drinks, and boom, you are golden. It's the Golf Club of Texas. You know exactly where it is. It's right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. Whether you're headed out there for dinner at the Tin Cup or around with your buddies, maybe your next tournament, just go check them out. Again, best rates always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Riding I-10 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here with my good friends from Prize Picks. I'm just one of millions of members of Prize Picks that play daily fantasy sports every day, and things just keep getting better. How about 2,000x on your cash today? That's right, cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your best chance to add your favorite players from the court on Prize Picks lineup. And whether it's points, rebounds, assists, and whatever else, take your pick more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000x your cash today. Turn up your playoff hot takes into tickets on basketball and championship winnings every day. And there's stuff going on all week. Every Tuesday, Prize Picks will discount several projections on the board. They take up to 15 to 25% off savings and fun. And then there's Big Flex Friday. Those picks that don't win, you get your net losses back in promo funds up to your limit as soon as the lineup settles. Hey, there's money back. That's why I love Prize Picks. 2,000 times your money and some free ones. Download Prize Picks. Use the code ALAMO for 50 free bucks. That's Prize Picks. Go run your game.
Made in America, highest quality. That's Connecticut Quality Water Softeners. There's a reason Dave Ramsey says a Connecticut is a wise investment for your home.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it.
It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country. 210-656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
License number 38961.
ConnecticutSA.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey San Antonio, this is Kelly Finglass, Senior Director of the world-famous Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders. Don't miss your chance to see our all-new theater production, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders on Tour. A night of dazzling performances, electrifying dance routines, a Q&A session, and even a live audition. We're coming to you for one night only, May 25th at the Majestic Theater. Tickets are limited, so go to DallasCowboysCheerleaders.com/tour to learn more today.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
There's a new wide receiver in the Dallas Cowboys' home. They solved their wide receiver 2 issue today. They traded for Steelers wide receiver George Pickens. They also get a 2027 6th-round pick. Cowboys sent a 3rd-round pick next year and a 2027 5th-round pick to the Steelers in exchange. Now, Clarence Hill of All City Dallas is reporting the contract talks with star edge rusher Micah Parsons have stalled.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Happy Hump Day, everybody.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Hump, hump day. Hump, hump
Day.
Here we go. We got humping in stereo.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Yeah.
Your definition of what is all in and mine might not be the same thing.
You know, it's just a year later, Jerry, but you're finally doing what you said you were going to do, or at least what we all interpreted what all in actually means.
They've been very active in the free agent market. I think by all accounts, they have had a very good draft, and then you get Pickens today.
We're going to be selectively aggressive.
And they were.
Absolutely.
You look at this move today, and give the Cowboys front office credit for this offseason. Last year, they got a big old F. This offseason, you look at the moves that they've made. Some very strategic. Some you might call cheap. Some you might call...
We're going to be selectively aggressive.
But when it was time to pounce and be aggressive, you did it for the right person. You know, it's not like, I don't know, bringing back Amari Cooper, which would have been a very Cowboy-like thing to do.
It would have.
Inexpensive, cheap, and that was great 3 years ago, but not necessarily today, Zeke. So, I mean, you look at this move today, and I don't know what other offseason moves that they could make, because who knows if they're done. Steven likes to say player acquisition is 24/7, 365. But this was a big boy move today by the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, no doubt. It was, and one that's very un-Cowboy-like, that's for sure, as you mentioned. And look, they needed this. By all accounts, they wanted Ted McMillan from Arizona in the draft. He didn't fall their way. They took an offensive lineman and then didn't feel like the rest of the wide receiver crop in the draft was as good as what they had, or just the same for that matter. So you go and you make a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers for George Pickens, a guy that is very talented. There's no question about that. He's a talented individual. The problem, he can sometimes be a little bit of a diva and sometimes a little bit a bigger diva. And that's part of the problem. He's got to control that anger and that emotion during the game because, look, it cost you. He's had several unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and can't do that.
And that's going to be on Brian Schottenheimer and the staff to do what they can to control that. Go back to what you just heard from Wade Phillips. You know, it's about the environment that you're coming into and how you communicate, how Dak Prescott communicates with them. We know, Dak Prescott is a strong leader. You can say what you want about Dak in the playoffs and all that, which is true, but the one thing nobody ever questions Dak is his leadership ability and what he does in the locker room. So I do think the environment will have a lot to do with it. Plus, he's going into a rookie year. He essentially got fired by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin said, I don't want you anymore. I'm giving up on you. If this guy wants to have a long NFL career and get to that next payday, he's got to be better. And maybe this is a wake-up call for him. Maybe. As he gets older, some people mature, some don't. I thought it was fascinating that Wade Phillips immediately went back to when they brought in T.O.
Yep.
T.O., who at that point had destroyed 2 locker rooms.
Yeah.
That was the knock on T.O. Great wide receiver. You're not worth it, dude. You're worth it initially, but not in the end. And Wade Phillips brought up, he cried at the end. Remember that? That's my quarterback, right? I mean, if you could somehow get something like that out of George Pickens in Dallas, this could be special. It's a very low-risk, high-reward move for the Cowboys that was telegraphed. The idea of we only know what we know. The draft comes and goes. And I'm in this boat. A lot of us were pissed they didn't take a wide receiver. They didn't get McMillan. They didn't look at wide receiver the rest of the way. Jerry said before the draft they were working on 2 major trades.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Jerry was just that confident this was going to get done, which meant they did not need to spend a draft pick on a wide receiver.
On somebody, look, I mean, the rest of the wide receiver class, when you think about it, are they any better than a Jonathan Mingo or better than a, I don't know, Jalen Tolbert? I'm not sure. And would Jerry want to, waste another third-round pick on a rookie? Well, it's going to take some time. Instead, he chose to go out and spend a third-round pick on a veteran guy that's been in the league 3 years. So,
known hell versus unknown hell,
absolutely.
And that's kind of what they did with Mingo. Now the Mingo thing looks a little bit more disastrous, although at the time it was bad. Now, if he doesn't work, nobody complains when a 4th-round pick doesn't work. So when they
don't, I do. Trey Lance didn't work. Jonathan Mingo, the jury's still out. That's a 4th-round pick.
No, you're complaining because they gave up a 4th-round pick for somebody that didn't work. But look at the number of guys that are taken on day 3 that never have an impact on a team. And we don't even think about them. Most of the time, you don't remember they were on the team. We all complain if a 1st and 2nd-round guy doesn't work. If 3rd or 4th-round guy doesn't work, 6th-round guy doesn't work, nobody really cares. But if you trade that away, you feel like, man, you could have gotten something more. So I just look, because like I thought Golden, there were some others other receivers that I wanted, but I wonder how much Jerry's confidence that this deal could and would get done allowed them to go into the draft, if McMillan wasn't there, to not focus on wide receiver, because Pickens is better than anybody else they could have gotten.
That could very well be the case, but they tried to get this deal done before the draft, according to most reports that I've read, and they couldn't get it done. So I'm not sure what their view was as they headed into the draft. All reports suggested that they wanted McMillan and thought he would fall to 12. Didn't happen, so they go offensive line and Golden was still available at that time. So they didn't want Golden, or they didn't take him, and maybe you're right. Maybe they knew that plan B was George Pickens, and they felt like they could still get that deal done. I just love this deal because I think the Cowboys have a 1-year insurance policy with this guy. You bring him in, you see how he fits, see how he plays, how he handles the locker room, games, when he's frustrated, how's he going to behave, and all of that kind of thing. And if they like it, great. You can talk about an extension. If not, then you can let him go. So it's for me, it's a very low risk for the Cowboys at this point in time, and something they needed to do.
And I would expect you're coming somewhere new. You're probably on your best behavior. There's a major contract at stake for you, whether it be in Dallas or it be with somebody else, because he fancies himself as a wide receiver 1. We know that he's a wide receiver 2. I can promise you Jerry, Steven, Schottenheimer are going to play the 1A, 1B game with this guy, because mentally he needs to feel like he's a wide receiver 1, similar to what they do in Cincinnati. But Jason Garrett, former Cowboy coach, now working at NBC, was on with Pro Football Talk. He said the reality is the key to make this work is quarterback Dak Prescott.
That's why it goes back to the quarterback for me, because the quarterback's the guy who has to develop the relationship with. He's the guy who's going to spend the most time with. Pickens knows that if I develop a relationship with Dak, he's going to throw me the ball. I'm going to have a lot of success. And I think Dak fully understands that. And I think that's the key relationship here. Ownership, organizational structure, head coach, very important, obviously. But if you can take the next step and you have an established quarterback, it helps that guy be less malcontented, if you will. And in Pittsburgh, when he's been there, the quarterback situation's been up in the air.
Malcontented, according to Jason Garrett.
Princeton grad.
Yeah, that's malcontented.
Is that a word?
I don't know. It sounds good.
He went to Princeton.
It sounds good, though.
Sure.
I'm not sure. You know what? Look, while they've got to massage Pickens' ego, you still got CeeDee Lamb over there.
Oh, yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is clearly the number 1 guy, and he knows it. So I don't know. Would CeeDee Lamb like a 1A, 1B? I'm not sure. I don't know. So, look, wide receivers are a different breed. They are. They're very diva-like, most all of them. And so I don't know, because you look at Cincinnati, I think it's clear Jamar Chase is the number one guy. The other guys,
T. Higgins.
Yeah, that guy. He's not making as much money as Chase is, and so it's going to be that case. And that's why after this year is over, depending on what happens, will Pickens want to stay in Dallas and be the number 2 when he feels like he might be able to go somewhere else and make $35 million a year when the Cowboys clearly won't pay him that much money?
Yeah, my guess, his attitude, team ain't going to offer him that. Pittsburgh wasn't going to offer him that. Mike Tomlin gave up on this guy. Now think about organizations. And when you think about well-run organizations, and even though Tomlin is a player's coach, the idea of, he's the longest tenured coach for a reason. You know, the program that they run, it just seems like they do things the right way. They've done everything except find a quarterback. Since Ben Roethlisberger left, that's the one knock on Pittsburgh. They're always in the playoffs, even though they don't win a playoff game anymore. But they're always there. They're always in the mix. You always expect them to be there. They have everything but a quarterback. Yet they couldn't make it work with this guy. They gave up on him. To me, that's pretty telling. So you come to Dallas, where it's a circus, and the spotlight is there. The reporters, the media, Mike Tomlin got mad at somebody. It might have been, I don't remember. Who was the player pledge? Do you remember who got in trouble for going on Instagram Live? Was that George or was that somebody else? But he can't do that, right?
AB.
All right, of course. Another. That's the one thing Mike Tomlin doesn't do. Is pick good wide receivers.
AB was pretty damn good in Pittsburgh.
Well, he was, but kind of nutty, right? But that's a quality, if you will, with wide receivers. There's a reason we call them diva wide receivers. They all think they're the best, and they have to have that kind of attitude, I suppose. But you think about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Either one of them can go off in a game. Defenses now have to pick their poison. You think about the Cowboys like to tell us, well, Jalen Tolbert's coming along. He led the team in touchdown catches last year. Had 7.
Yeah, that's why they went out and got Pickens.
And Mingo.
Because Tolbert's coming along.
Well, because the reality is CeeDee Lamb got all the attention, and Jalen Tolbert's there, right? He's not a threat.
No.
No defense coordinators losing sleep over Jalen Tolbert. They will trying to go, crap, Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson. Now they have a running game.
Yep.
This offense should be explosive. Go back to CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. This should be better than that. Pickens' ability to go deep. I know a lot of you think Dak Prescott is dink and dunk Dak. Go look at the numbers. He's either 1 or 2 in passes downfield over 15 yards. That's where Pickens specializes. He'll line up, CD in motion. Good luck to defenses. Can Brian Schottenheimer scheme those guys open? That's his challenge. But he now has, Schottenheimer as a rookie head coach, has all the weapons that we all said he needed to get. Jerry Jones has given his head coach every chance to be successful.
And I'm glad you just said that. Pledge, I hope you recorded that, because I want to hear that when we get down to, December, January, February, depending on where the Cowboys are. Jerry Jones has done his job. Now it is up to those players to do theirs. This won't be Jerry Jones's fault if the Cowboys falter in the playoffs again or don't get to the playoffs. It won't be Jerry's fault. This will be on the players. It is now squarely on Schottenheimer and those players to get it done. Jerry's done his job.
Dak has to get it done in the playoffs. We know Dak can get it done in the regular season. Dak Prescott has to get it done in the playoffs. And if this team is able to stay healthy, Dak should have 0 excuses. You can't come out flat against Green Bay. Shouldn't be manhandled by San Francisco. You've got the weapons you need offensively. Defense, still a question at corner maybe, but for the most part, you added a couple more edge rushers for a reason.
You did.
And you look at this team, the draft, this move, and whether they knew they had George Pickens in their pocket, which is why they didn't address wide receiver in the draft, who knows? but certainly part of their plans and the conversations. They felt good enough they were probably going to be able to get this done. They did. You look at this team now. They're built first to win the NFC East because their draft tells me they're competing with Philadelphia in that front. The Giants might have the best defensive line if they can play together as a group, let alone what Washington has. You got to get out of the East first. And they
give
have
it to
this,
me, Jason.
this offense.
I can hear the excitement in your voice. Give it to me.
What?
Super Bowl. Come on, say it, Jason.
No.
Come on, say it.
Dude, seriously.
Say it, Jason. Super Bowl. This is our year.
This drought that people say we're in terms of a championship game or a Super Bowl.
This is it, Jason. Come on, say it, Jason. Everybody wants to hear you say it. Super Bowl.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
Super Bowl. I can hear the excitement in your voice. You're thinking it. This team can get it done.
No, but I am thinking playoffs.
Playoffs?
We're a damn good football team.
Yeah, you might want to sign that guy.
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
I'm glad you said that. Jerry, you have done your job. Dak and everybody else, it's time to do yours.
Big day for the Cowboys. Big day. Big boy move, that is for sure, for the Dallas Cowboys. Got some big boy basketball tonight as well. Game 2 between the Celtics and Knicks. Then, of course, later tonight, you got Oklahoma City and Denver in Game 2. You think about this first game coming up. Jalen Brunson right now, higher, lower than 26.5 points. Yeah, 29 the other night. You want to watch these games? You want to watch Jalen get a bucket? You could get some cash with that if you think higher or lower, 26.5. Underdog is where you need to go. One of the best sports apps out there to make all your sports picks. Over 100,000 five-star reviews on Underdog. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars, and all you have to do on the Pick'em game is pick higher or lower. Play for as little as $1. It is so much fun. Adds a lot of excitement to watching the game. So download the Underdog app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, use promo code STAR when you sign up at Underdog. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, where the road wins continue, we'll see if a home team can actually win a playoff game.
And we'll talk more about the Cowboys' moves and the NBA draft lottery coming up. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
Hey, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATS.
Find mom's best gift at Target. Now through Mother's Day, get up to 40% off gifts for her. Discover trendy apparel and swimwear that'll elevate any wardrobe. Jewelry that'll make her smile shine brighter, and even chocolate that'll turn any moment into something sweeter. There are endless options to choose from to show her she's the best. Hurry! Save 20 to 40% on select apparel, jewelry, chocolates, and more this Mother's Day only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Looking for a place with character, cold drinks, and real Texas charm? Pull up a chair at the Lion and Rose in the Dominion. This local favorite, run by the Tharp family, serves up Southern hospitality, military pride, and seriously good food. Happy hour daily from 3 till 7 p.m. with $2.50 drafts, select wine, wells, and mimosas. Plus, tasty bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Now open at 23330 West I-10. The Lion and Rose.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
It's almost Mother's Day, and you can now get anything you need delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. So no, you can't order a relaxing shower, but some beautiful flowers, you bet we deliver those. A bird bath? No. A bath bomb? Absolutely. It's no to a chocolate lab, but yes to some chocolate truffles. So whether it's a last-minute gift for Mother's Day, fresh groceries, or food from your favorite restaurants, get it delivered today with Uber Eats. Order now. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Howdy, San Antonio. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're locked on the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Wednesday afternoon. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. You can always subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Give us a follow on Twitter, at Joe Reinagle 210, at Jason Minix, at SA Sports Star.
All of those things. Thanks for joining us, however you're doing it. That's what Jason means to say. We appreciate you spending part of your day with us.
We do, because we like to learn things.
We do.
And then there's things you think you know, and a meaning of something might have changed.
Yeah.
Which, hang on, Pledge is giving me the hold sign.
Well,
his computer's giving him that little spinny thing.
Now, as you may or may not know, they are in Italy right now, in Rome, trying to vote on a new pope, right? So that's been the big news story, and this is what we're getting to. So on CBS today, we learned something.
Maybe. Because it is quite a process. Electing a new pope, and on CBS News, they were going through all kinds of different details, and we learned that one of the things they can't do is take their phones into the room where they're doing this. So nobody's scrolling Instagram.
The one thing we know they're not doing is checking Instagram because their devices have all been confiscated.
I believe the kids call it raw dogging it if you're going to go through a long period of time with no electronic device.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Is that true?
Is that what the kids call it?
The kids call that? I think somebody's kid lied to them.
Now, raw dogging, to me,
meant something else.
Right. It's no raincoat.
Yeah, exactly. You're unprotected.
But I didn't know. I mean, if there's younger folks out there, if you're without your phone for it, is that raw dogging?
According to Pledge, different. How did you phrase that, James?
Different generations have different meaning for said phrase.
Now, you're 44.
I am.
I've seen some of your dates might be half your age, more than half your age. Legal, but do they use the term raw dogging if they don't have their phone for 10 minutes?
People that I've been around with do not, but, I have nieces, nephews, others that are of younger persuasion.
If you heard somebody use the term they were raw dogging it, would you say, "Where'd you leave your phone"? No.
Me? No.
No, you wouldn't. But what's crazy is these guys are talking about all the Cardinals together voting on a pope, and they're raw dogging it? Oh, my goodness.
And this is on CBS Morning News. So you got people, like Joe's neighbor, after they've read the newspaper and they're having their coffee and they've complained to the neighbor, Joe, about, his, overwatering his yard. And then they're going to go home and listen to some guy on the news talk about raw dogging.
Honey, what's that? Jeez. They may not even know that that's no condom. I mean, so maybe that changed from their generation to me, then you, and then...
I mean, in your generation, condoms weren't a thing.
No, they were. They were just in the gas station bathrooms.
No,
you're too old. I mean, was it?
They had condoms in. Trust me. Yes.
No, those weren't invented until later.
No, they had them. Trust me, they did. Used to carry one around in my wallet.
Yeah, for years, man. You had that little ring in your wallet.
I did. Yes. I'm telling you, and I didn't say I used it. I'm just saying they had them.
You got 5 kids, obviously. but
that was after high school.
But I mean, you think about, the early '80s. I was about 10, and the AIDS was a thing, and that's when always having to, wrap that rascal became a thing.
I got to text one of my kids and find out here.
I don't know if you should text. What are your kids gonna think if you're texting them?
Well, obviously Casey. They're raw dogging it. She's pregnant as hell.
But she's married. It's fine.
So, I mean, that's obvious. So I don't know if that's what.
I mean, what are you gonna text her, Casey? What does raw dogging mean?
No, I'm just gonna say.
I mean, she's gonna send you a guide. How old is my dad?
What do you say when you don't have your phone for a while? What phrase do you use? I think it's interesting. I'm going to see what she said. Now Casey's 30.
She's going to lie to you.
Right? She's 30.
See, I got to think, if I were to text my kid that, what would you do if you were without your phone for a while? The answer would be that never happens. That never happens.
That's closer to the demo, though.
Probably. And I've got younger kids I could text.
Text the grandkids. Ask them.
Grandkids aren't old enough to have a phone yet. They're a little young.
They haven't learned about raw dogging?
Well, I hope not.
Well, their whole life they've been raw dogging.
I'm going to slap their parents if they do. Goodness gracious. Let's see what Casey says.
What was the question you asked?
I just simply said, what phrase do you use when you don't have your phone for a while?
Yeah, all right.
Or when you can't use your phone. That's what I said.
Phrase do you use
when you sending that to Erica?
Erica and Bree.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let's see. We should get an answer from somebody at this point. I mean, if they're using it on CBS talking about the Pope's election, I mean...
Which is crazier. They drop in the raw dogging phrase while talking about the Pope.
Yes. I mean, I wonder if somebody talked to him about that after. Oh, the kids say raw dogging. Wow.
Now, Gilbert on our YouTube says, my 21-year-old cousin mentioned she was raw dogging, and I told her I don't need to know that. She said she was talking about her technology and called me old. He's 44.
Well,
Sam's 44 and doesn't have kids. Thanks for your input, Sam.
I guess he doesn't raw dog it.
Obviously not. A non-raw dogger there at 44.
Interesting. Well, if she ever gets back to me, she's probably looking at
that going,
I mean, what the hell?
Because you know they've seen it. They're just not responding. They read that and go like,
well, no. I mean, I don't know. My daughter Casey is a nurse, so I don't know if she's working today or not. So
both mine should be available.
Yeah, they
and
should.
Even if they're working, they're responding.
Now, Justin Guerrero says means without a phone in your hand. How do we get from no condom to no phone? What? Seriously, how do you bridge those two?
Like I said, On this show, we try to educate you daily. I like to learn new things. I figure you like to learn new things.
I learned a new thing today, that the CBS guy, I guess, has kids that call it raw dogging.
And I thought your kids lied to you.
Wow.
You heard a phrase, and your kid was quick on their feet and said, "Oh yeah, it means you don't have your phone, Dad."
That's crazy. I've never heard of that before.
And the fact that neither one of again,
yeah,
they're never far away from their phone.
Dad's drunk again.
Well, they know I'm at work, so they know this is a part of the show for something. I'm a little trouble for the story I told earlier about Bree.
Well, how do you know?
Oh, because I told her it made for a great segment. I can't believe you said that.
Hopped up on the bed.
I feel like I should tell that story again.
You really should. Yeah.
My niece and her husband, they live in Washington State. And Lucas, Duck Boy, his stepmom's going through some health issues. They had to check her into a home. That part is sad, and we've been dealing with that for a while. But I got a text from my niece, Bree, who is a nurse. And during school, spent a lot of time working in homes like that. And so check Lucas's stepmom into the home today. Her CNA is a little person. He hopped up on the bed to change her. I shouldn't be laughing, but my goodness, I've never seen that before. Mm-hmm. Visually.
I got a response. Says, what do you mean?
Ask her what is raw dogging. Apparently it's a conversation you can now have with your daughter.
I can.
Because it just means being without your phone.
Well, she's got a kid and one on the way, so.
Well, she's married. She's not using a condom anymore. There's other things.
True.
You know, she can get a good goalie and see if that thing can pitch a shutout.
He needs to get snipped.
I did my vasectomy live on the air.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to imagine that. It's close to dinner time.
Dude, it was great. I remember Dr. Talley said that I had a great scrotum. That was my Facebook status for weeks.
That's awesome. Wow.
It worked. I have no kids. Then he gave me a prescription. Said I had to have sex 3 times a day, not alone. And I framed that and set it next to Joanna's bedside. It was on her end table.
Well, you know what's funny about that? There's a guy at the gym that I go to who just had that done. And he said the doctor said you have to do that solo.
No.
For 3 times before you go pro.
Well, that's not what I was told.
I'm just saying.
No.
See, maybe the rules have changed.
Got to clean out the chamber.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're doing.
So.
You got to make sure it's shooting blanks.
So you got to go solo first.
I was never told that.
Wow. I'm just saying.
No.
Well, your scrotum was beautiful, apparently.
Yeah, it was.
God. Hey.
It was live on the air.
I'm sorry, everybody that watched
that.
You're
just jealous. Well, I mean, it was video from the.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
I'm glad I did that live on there. It was a great distraction.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
Speaking of plumbing, if you're having any issues with your actual plumbing at your house, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios, big job, small job, residential, or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quartermoon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. As far as your AC goes, time to hit the jackpot with comfort. The Lucky 7's AC tune-up for $77. A 7-point AC inspection that Quartermoon will come out and do to make sure your system is running cool and smooth for the summer. That 7-point inspection includes your capacitor, indoor coil, outdoor coil, filter change, air supply, temperature check, the condensate drain line. They'll clear that. Check your refrigerant level, all of that for $77. So get that scheduled. Call Quartermoon at 210-651-5899. 651-5899 or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, where the road wins continue, we'll see if a home team can actually win a playoff game.
And we'll talk more about the Cowboys' moves and the NBA draft lottery coming up. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist, with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Get a taste of that winning feeling before the buzzer sounds with ESPN Bet's Early Victory promo. Simply place a pregame moneyline bet on any NBA playoff game, and if the team you back goes up by 20 or more points at any point in the game, your bet will get paid out early. Available throughout the NBA playoffs at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Gentlemen, testosterone levels can start dropping in your 30s, leading to low energy, reduced libido, and slower metabolism. Rock's Discount Vitamins is making it easy to take back control. No appointments and no prescriptions. Just head into a Rock's and walk out with a natural solution tailored to you. Our powerful line of natural testosterone boosters can help increase energy, build muscle, rev up your metabolism, and reignite your drive. You'll feel the difference and fast. Visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God in South Texas.
Time's running out to find the perfect Mother's Day gift, but it's okay because Macy's is here to help. Shop our annual Mother's Day sale and you'll find gifts that'll make Mom say, "That's exactly what I wanted." There are diamond necklaces and pendants 30 to 55% off. Handbags from Karl Lagerfeld and Calvin Klein 30% off. And designer fragrance gift sets boxed and ready to give. How easy is that? But don't wait any longer. Mother's Day is Sunday and the sale is happening now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today.
Progressive knows there are two things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
The Lion and Rose at the Dominion, your daily happy hour spot from 3 till 7 p.m. 250 drafts, wine, wells, and bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Lion and Rose at 23330 West I-10.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on an educational hump day.
Of course. Well, every day on the Blitz is an educational day. That's what we do.
Well, of course it's what we do, but when you think about it, on this
hump day,
we're talking raw dogging, which means you don't have to have your phone.
Which goes right in line with a hump day.
Well, not anymore.
Oh, apparently not.
I mean, the dude from CBS. Can we hear that again, Pledge? This dude from CBS learned a new term, probably verified it with multiple sources, and couldn't wait for the opportunity to be able to use this word on national TV, and he does it while they're talking about electing the new pope on CBS News.
The one thing we know they're not doing is checking Instagram because their devices have all been confiscated.
I believe the kids call it raw dogging it if you're going to go through a long period of time with no electronic device.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, they're of a certain age, so they might be used to it.
I can't even imagine the phone calls that happened after that was said on CBS, because most people, my friend, have a different definition of raw dogging.
That are watching CBS.
Yes, especially CBS, yes.
You go to a lot of comedy shows, they tell you to put your phone away. I saw Bruno Mars in Las Vegas, and they gave us a pouch for your phone, so you couldn't be on your phone and record it, right? And you kept it with you, but you couldn't access it because it was in this pouch. They didn't tell us on that night in Vegas that it was going to be a raw dogging kind of night. Right? You would think of all people, Bruno Mars would have said, we could have some fun with this, maybe even write a song. Because he does write a song about taking your phones away, which was funny as hell. Wish I could have videoed it. But I couldn't access my phone because apparently that night I was raw dogging and didn't even know it.
You were raw dogging it. Elijah on our YouTube page said he just texted my sister to ask if she's a raw dogger. Her response is, I'm a lesbian.
Has nothing to do with your phone. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. I can't even imagine the people that had to answer the phone calls after that dude said that, especially talking about the Pope.
On Twitter, Meepity Meep UTSA tweets in at Joe Reinigle 210 at Jason Minix. Raw dogging now means committing an action without preparation or support. I guess that's how you evolve from No Jimmy.
But nobody knows that, meepity meep. Even my daughter, she's 30 years old now. Maybe it goes younger than this. When I asked her, what would you use the term raw dogging if you didn't have your phone? And she lectures me. Raw dogging is usually sexual intercourse with no protection. I'm like, duh. So
you say that.
So no, I would not say having my phone is raw dogging it. See? And I mean, she's 30.
Yeah, but she's been married a long time.
Well,
a couple of kids.
Yeah. Wow.
Raw dogs.
Nobody knows what the hell that is. Without using your phone, everybody's going to go to the other one. And so
yeah.
Dude, I guarantee you CBS the phones were ringing off the hook. Ringing off the hook. And I mean, I get it, but if you're doing the Pope.
Poor choice of words.
So all the Cardinals are raw dogging it today.
See, and you can't say that all the Cardinals in there raw dogging. That just come on.
So Justin says he asked his 14-year-old daughter, well, dude, please, and I would hope she wouldn't know the answer to this.
She's 14.
What does it mean to not have a phone for a long period? She says it means I'm grounded. You guys are funny as hell. Y'all are funny. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's funny.
Boy, it's something.
See, it's been educational on the last hour of the Blitz.
It's what we do here.
That is what we do.
It's what we do.
So who do you like tonight?
Boston and OKC.
You'd lay both the points in both?
10.5 in both. I would not. Straight up, Boston wins. Straight up, Oklahoma City wins.
I think Boston covers the spread. I'm not sure about OKC, so I didn't do either one. I took the overs in both games.
You know, I'd have to look. What were the overs? Because
let me go back.
The games have been fairly low scoring.
Well, they have,
and
except for the Denver OKC.
Yeah,
game.
and so you almost wonder. like overtime got me the other day, right?
Yep.
But even like last night's games, surprised to see Minnesota unable to score. Because the one thing that in a playoff series, defense is where you make most of your adjustments. And, you're playing the same team, you're looking at the film, you're making the adjustments. I don't know what Oklahoma City does tonight to slow down Joker. And if Joker plays the first half tonight like he played the second half the other night, that dude might get 50. But, again, he's been inconsistent this postseason as far as his dominant scoring. But, I mean, incredible double-double the other night. I just expect more out of Oklahoma City. And the fact that no home team has won in the second round is nuts. I think that changes tonight.
That has to change tonight. I fully expect Boston to win, and Oklahoma City should win as well. By the way, the total in the Knicks game is 211 and 230 in the OKC Denver. I'm expecting a little bit better scoring, and I'm sure expecting Boston maybe to find the basket tonight instead of clanking 45 shots off the rim.
Well, they're going to take threes.
No, they're going to. They just need to make a few tonight.
As on the TV in the studio right now, Tim Legler is doing his, I don't know, whatever. I'm just seeing him. He's not happy at all with Boston. That dude on the All City NBA podcast, he went on a rant that was like 5 minutes long about how pissed off he was at the Boston Celtics after game one. I'm not going to play all 5 minutes, but here's the meat and potatoes.
That's an abomination offensively to play the way they played. And look, if people are going to sit there, well, that's how they play all the time, man. Live by the three, die by the three.
That's what they do.
Talking about. Watch the game. So there's a big number of uncontested shots, and that's what the Celtics contingent and people that love the Celtics or that defend the Celtics are going to say today. Well, they're all uncontested threes. My ass. I watched. I wrote them all down. They were not. You can't play that way offensively while this lead's slipping away without figuring out a way to get to a mid-range jumper, something at the rim or free throws. It's embarrassing. You tailor-made the environment for the Knicks to do what they did to you. This is on the Celtics. They made it so simple to guard them. And I thought it was an abomination offensively.
An abomination offensively. And I agree. 63-point shots in a playoff game, NBA record. 60 they took. They made 15 of them. Unbelievable.
But it's what they do. And I get where Legs is coming from. Every time you see a game where you see a bunch of missed three-pointers, everybody that understands what we know when we talk about raw dogging gets mad because it doesn't feel like basketball. It's analytics. It's the numbers. 3's better than 2. But you want to watch the game go inside out, not outside in. And with Boston, they just stay outside. Even when the lane is open, they don't seem to take it. It's almost like, I don't want to get in trouble for getting 2. But that's how they play. That's how they've played all year. And when they've had games like the other night when they miss a bunch of 3s, they don't make drastic changes. I don't expect them to do anything drastically different than what they did in game one. That's a great three-point shooting team that just didn't make them the other night. They won an NBA championship a year ago doing the same thing. In one game, I don't see them making major adjustments offensively. Their identity is they're going to jack up a boatload of 3s.
Well, look, if the Knicks did a good job of this the other night, trying to run them off the three-point stripe. And Legler's right, a lot of those 3s were contested, and they're still trying to jack them up. If they're going to run you off the three-point stripe, that means the paint is open.
Yeah.
So adjust. I mean, a 2 is better than a 0. A 2 is better than a clank. So, do something different if they're running you off, even if that's what you normally do, then go inside. It's open, and then they'll have to adjust what they're doing, and then those 3s will be open.
It'll be interesting to see how they play it tonight because Cleveland's down 0-2. You do all that work to get home court advantage, and everybody lost home court advantage in game one. Cleveland's now in a major hole, and they're not healthy. Can you imagine if the Knicks get game 2 tonight, and it's very similar? Now, there's a lot of people out there, Joe, that don't believe in the New York Knicks. But, man, if they go up 2-0, you got to start to believe.
They're not going to.
I mean, I don't think they will either, but if Boston has another night like that with Jalen Brunson and his ability to turn it on, I wouldn't count out the Knicks. I don't expect them to win, but that's why I'm afraid of that 10.5 number. It could be a blowout. I mean, playoff basketball, that's a big number. That's a big number.
Well, it's a huge number, and what you got to worry about, will the Knicks, and the same for the Denver Nuggets, will they be satisfied with taking – you've got one game, you've stole home court advantage from both of those teams. Will you let down a little bit tonight? You shouldn't. You're in the second round of the playoffs, but it's human nature. Are you going to let down a little bit? If either one of those teams does that, I could see a blowout situation.
Going to be interesting. Coming up on Extra Innings with Pledge, more on the George Pickens move. Pickens now a Dallas Cowboy. Earlier in the Blitz, we talked with Brooke Pryor from ESPN, who covers the Pittsburgh Steelers, to get a little bit more intel on what the Cowboys are getting from in Pickens and, quite frankly, why things went so south for him. Mike Tomlin cut you loose. That's a problem. Great conversation we had earlier with Brooke Pryor. Pledge will have that for you coming up on Extra Innings with Pledge. Morning Huddle tomorrow morning, 6 to 10. We're back tomorrow at 2.
Well, your scrotum was beautiful, apparently.
Riding I-35 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6.